3, a 2, a 1.
Hi guys, sorry I'm 30 seconds late. I was choking on a corn nut.
He
We're here
was.
live with Whick. Yeah, Whick can confirm. I was choking on a corn nut. But if I ever die, I'm gonna tell Whick to keep the live stream going because I want everyone to see it.
It would have been an interesting start to the show. We would have had a super chat goal that if you reached it, he would be able to get help and resuscitated. But not until we reach that goal. You know, I'll have 911 on speed dial ready as soon as you hit the metrics. Okay. This is just called capitalism, baby. But anyway, welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of Wick TV. And today, finally, after months, we have finally gotten Soy Pill onto the show to face the world.
Finally.
Okay?
Like I wouldn't have said yes 3 months ago if you asked.
We are going to test him on every single take he has ever had, to try him, to make him defend himself from all angles, okay? We're going to take him from the back. We're going to take him from the front. We're going to take him from the sides,
Hell yeah.
all at the same time, right? It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And gang, you, yes, you, dear viewer, whether you be a soy pill, a soiper, or a wicker, or what have you, you can come on and join in the fun. So how do you do that, gang? What do we do? If you want to come in and you want to make fun of his stupid hat, if you
Whoa.
want to take him to task for positions he's had, if you simply want to ask him, like, hey, what do you think about this issue going on in the world? You can do that. I provided a link in my YouTube channel. It's pinned. I'm certain Soy Pill has done the same.
Yeah, it's in the description, folks.
Yeah, you click that link. You accept the rules by clicking my little face emoji in the rules page, and then you jump backstage. And when we're ready for you, we'll pull you on, and you can have your say until we're bored of you, and then we'll let you go. With that, I actually, before we get into it too far, I actually wanted to start by getting your reaction to a clip of a show that I saw recently. It's not a recent show, but I was curious what Soy Pill's thoughts here were, and we're going to watch it together, gang, and then we'll start bringing people on. Okay, let me share your screen.
Yep.
My screen, I should say, whatever. And we'll watch it together, okay? Everyone ready? Got it up. Got the volume up. Let's see what they have to say. Let's go.
No, I can't go for a run because I had an abortion yesterday. I can't go for a run and I can't take a bath or use a tampon or have intercourse for like a week.
Are you, what?
Yeah, just a couple of things I can't do because I had an abortion yesterday.
Was it mine?
Yeah, of course it was yours. I didn't want to talk about it beforehand. I just wanted to do it. But I haven't shared with boyfriends in the past. I'm trying to be more open with you.
So you're trying to be open with me. How many abortions have you had?
I'm not going to share that with you because that is private. I'm not going to ask you how many girls you've gotten pregnant.
None. It's not private. I've gotten no girls pregnant except for you now. Who aborted you?
A doctor named Gunita did the procedure. She delivered my cousin's baby.
Was it a boy or a girl?
My cousin's baby's a girl.
No! Ours!
It was a ball of cells. It was smaller than a seed pearl. It didn't have a penis or a vagina.
Isn't this a decision that people typically make together?
So you wanted a baby?
Maybe.
That's kind of absurd.
Okay.
What do you think, Soy Pill? What's your take?
I think
Is
that
this guy,
I think that this is what got Adam Driver cast as Kylo Ren, and I think he should have been mad at Rey for having an abortion, and it would have been a better movie. I think a bunch of people are gonna get mad at this clip because it's like, oh my god, like you should never have an abortion without telling your significant other. I think you can. However, the nonchalantness to which she is treating this, like she acknowledges that she could have kept this a secret and it would have been fine probably, but she's like, "But I will tell you." But instead of telling you beforehand, and instead of like having a discussion, knowing that like she could have said, "Hey, I'm gonna have this, but I wanted to let you know ahead of time. It's my body. I'm gonna do what I want, but I'm gonna let you know," and not, "Hey, by the way, I fucking had an abortion yesterday. Whoops, just scrape that one out of me." You know what I mean? Like that. That's very a terrible way to approach this. So. I think getting violent and smashing the table is a not a great reaction from the man, but Britta was not treating this with the gravity that it needs. So I think both of them are terrible and should die.
Well, gang, you heard it here first. Soy Pill wants actors to die.
Yeah,
Okay,
why is Adam
so
Driver always punching things and yelling at women in a room? Like that's just his thing, right?
I don't know, man. Like, I think that might have been a reasonable reaction to that.
What? To
And
someone
just
having
to
an abortion?
well, aborting your baby without telling you.
Oh, so okay. Well, so your contention is that if she had done this and he had found out and she never told him, he deserves to smash the room up, even if it was like 2 days into the
Deserves to
first
smash the room.
trimester.
Deserves to smash the room up is a little wild, but he should absolutely leave that bitch.
I
Absolutely.
mean, if that's his
Like,
deal breaker, like, hey, you didn't communicate with me, sure.
well, you, it's a little bit more than like you didn't communicate with me. I mean, that's technically true, but you took something and we had a relationship and you decided without consulting me to just abort our possible child.
I
It
think this
seems
is
like
this is a
it's
two-way street. As soon as you're going to start a sexual relationship with someone, you need to discuss, hey, what happens if we accidentally get pregnant because we're not intending to right now. Clearly,
certainly.
neither of them did this. It was totally up to her to say, "I want to get an abortion. I don't have to tell you." But it's very stupid of her to drop this like it's just some thing that I did. Like, yeah, I got lunch. I took a shower. I had an abortion. I went on a run. Like, yeah, that's not how you drop this news. But yeah, she's absolutely allowed to. It's just I think crashing out and getting violent is not a reasonable reaction, even if you are upset because you're potentially threatening the person you're in the room with.
Okay. So I think she's legally allowed to, and I am pro-choice to be clear, right? I don't think that we should make laws regarding this, but I do think that she primarily, and I can't think of anything he did morally wrong here, but she absolutely did something morally wrong. But we'll talk about it. I won't take up too much of your time on this. If you want to call in about this, if you disagree with him, we'll bring you on. But I got some people in the backstage. We're going to start bringing people in. We're going to see what they have to say. And remember, if you have an opinion, if you think I'm wrong or you think Soy Pill's wrong, jump on in. Okay.
It's going to turn into Wick versus the world because you have the least reasonable opinions.
Okay, what's up, Stream Rift? You're live.
Hello, Mr. Soy Pill. I have a first question for you.
I
Very
know
important.
you. Okay,
Hi.
wait, hold on. Let me guess. Is it a 4chan meme, and are you going to put a 4chan meme on top of your camera?
So first of all, it's nice that my reputation precedes me. Second, especially with such an esteemed content creator. First question is, where do you get such awesome hats? Obviously, those are not something
Amazon.com,
every-
and then you type propeller hat into the search bar, and you could buy a 4-pack for less than $20. And it comes with a bow tie.
Excellent. So, on the clip that Wick found, that was excellent rage bait. I think we can agree. There's a lot to pick on there.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I understand it, you're a fairly gynocentric guy. I think you call yourself maybe a feminist leaning.
Wait. Before you
situation
move
such
on,
as
what's
this-
gynocentric? I don't know if I can let that slide because I don't know what it means.
No, that's fair. I appreciate.
Like I can guess what it means, but please explain it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I believe that we give women preferential treatment. So,
No, I'm not gynocentric then.
And centric meaning focused on.
I'm equal
Okay.
opportunist. I don't believe that we should prefer women.
Well, let's test this. So, situation: she gets pregnant. She decides she doesn't want to keep it. She can opt out.
Okay.
If she doesn't opt out, she can go after the father for 18 years of support and doesn't really have to. Well, so do you think that the father should be able to opt out as well? Because wouldn't that be more equal? Because the women get the option all the way up until the abortion to walk away from it, and the man gets no input on it. So it's not equal up
I
front.
think if the roles were reversed and the man was pregnant, I would have the exact same opinion on it. Unfortunately, we don't live in that world, so I can't give this, but to call this gynocentric when the reality is that one of these people has to have it inside their body and the other doesn't, and we used to live in a world where one person was the primary income earner and the other wasn't. I think that if you want to say this, courts are incredibly biased towards women, especially parental courts and divorce courts and like custody, that sort of stuff. I think that judges should use the discretion of, does this father really need to provide child support for something that is like, let's say the woman makes 3 times as much income. Yeah, I would say that there are more cases than not where this should be decided a little more fairly. The guy shouldn't be on the hook for stuff like that. But in general, I don't think it's that unfair to say, yeah, if you made this baby after taking the responsibility that this might happen and you don't get to decide whether or not she aborts it, you should probably still support that it is alive, because I don't want to live in the world where we have even more impoverished mothers with more impoverished babies, which have a higher tendency for crime.
In Kentucky, they came up with an interesting way of dealing with this. They said 50-50 custody, no alimony, basically, saying essentially with 40 years of giving women preferential treatment in education, in the workforce, government contracting, all of these things, now maybe they can take care of it. So this way, half the time with mom, half the time with dad. Is that I view that as equality and progress. Do you think that's we can
This
agree
sounds
that
on
maybe a
paper
step in a good
fair. I guess
direction?
it depends. Again, this is case by case, right? Like, does the mom work?
Well, this is a state
Does
law,
No, I
so
understand.
it's
But
it's
what
a
I'm saying
rebuttable
is,
presumption. Yeah, go ahead.
what I'm saying is, this would make sense to me in situations where both of them make good money. It would make sense to me in places where, they're both have the time to take care of this child. But there are a bunch of cases, and on average, it's going to be the case that the man makes a lot more money and has job experience and can afford to pay child support, and the woman can't. In these cases, I think it would make sense to not have equal custody and or equal payment. But it depends on what situation we're looking at.
But we're going to start doing downward adjustments for guys too, because the fact of the
Yes,
matter is,
yes.
there's a lot of
If the
data
guy
coming out
makes
saying
less
women are
money, I
starting to
believe
make
that
more
there
than
should be a
men.
downward adjustment for the men. Just to be clear, this is equal. This is not based on men and women. I'm just talking about on average. This happens to favor men or favor women more, but in situations where it favors men because they make less money, they should get to not have to pay as much child support, or they should get child support, or they should get more custody if they're a more responsible parent. So I'm not gynocentric, just to be clear.
You know what? No, and I'm going to go this far. I'm even going to go. You're not a shit lib. A shit lib is someone that won't be reasonable. You said it cuts both ways. That's lib material. That's decent, God fearing. I don't know. I don't want to put God on a lib. Maybe they're not into that. So, quick question for you: censorship. I've heard you make some comments about censorship. I'm not a fan of. Not at all. So
Wait,
my
is
quick
it the
question. Yeah,
dumb
go ahead.
comment on Twitter that I said this morning where I said censor everyone but me? Because that was obviously a joke.
No, I agree with you, and I appreciate the response. I appreciate the response. It's like
Okay.
hello.
Oh, that was you. Okay,
No,
cool.
yeah. That was me. So just as some very quick context on it, we've seen different censorship of things on the internet right now. Of course, with AI, people are worried about deep fakes. They're worried about CSAM, computer generated. There's been some content. I'm going to give you 3 pieces of content that I think are a good lens to look at on censorship.
Okay.
One is Kanye's song that I think is a song about a dad that misses his kids. There's some, I believe,
But you're not
Nazi
talking about the
references in there.
He's
Heil
talking about the Hail
the
Hitler
Heil
song,
one?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think you
Yeah,
can say
that
that on
one.
stream. You're fine. You can't say the
Okay.
N word though, which is part of the
Yeah,
chorus.
well, so we're gonna be real polite here. So we've got that one. Then there's the Christchurch shooting. It was a live stream mass shooting, and then I'm gonna say,
Which I did watch
during
live,
World
by
War
the way.
II. Wow,
Yeah.
that was a, yeah. So then, during the Holocaust, a lot of the challenge in getting U.S. support was people would see pictures of what was going on and they wouldn't believe that it was real. And so whenever I've been looking at a censorship discussion, I think the free flow of being able to share information about what's going on in the world around us helps us understand and react as a society and as humans.
Wait, I understand the
to
argument.
do
What's
that.
my
Thank you.
take that you disagree with?
Well, so I've heard that you think that we need more censorship around certain topics, and that the Germans do a good job with their education camps, so you don't need to be censoring them as much. Um, so my question
Oh,
to
so
you,
are you talking about where I say it makes sense that Germany is able to acknowledge its horrible past because they have such a robust education on the Holocaust, and the reason that I'm less scared of Germans saying, hey, you can't see Kyle in public, or hey, we're permanently banning a Nazi party, is because the education system allows for them to understand just how awful and just how obvious the Holocaust is. So if you are going out and saying the Holocaust didn't happen, it is tantamount to saying it should happen, aka advocating for, or being a Nazi party, which is illegal in Germany. They're like, we are not letting this happen again. Versus in America, if you were to run on like a pro-segregation platform, I don't believe the education system is robust enough to like know whether or not you're just being a huge idiot or if you are actually genuinely evil. So yeah, that would be my argument for censorship in Germany being a little more okay, even though it is not exactly what I want. It's, definitely way past what our First Amendment has. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we're on the same vein here. So
Okay, cool.
my final sort of clarifying question, happy to stay on, but also know there's other people other than me. When you take a look at how censorship works, right, it sounds like you're saying there's an educational component. So we can allow sort of in mainstream discourse or on the internet discussion about things if we have the corollary approved narrative or educational founding for it. So how do you think, like, what do you think is a good policy for what should and shouldn't be restricted? Is it, for example, with the examples you're using there is, well, if the populace is publicly educated that the Holocaust was bad and it happened, it was terrible, we can allow more thought around that because we sort of set the stage at the educational institutional level.
Yeah, it's when it's advocating for violence.
Just one more second.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I don't understand your framework for it because it's so foreign to me. So I'd really like to hear, right, in Soy Pill's world, you're king for a year. What is that?
Right. So the idea that it's just denying the Holocaust is where it's like, okay, well, if it was just going against the counter narrative, right? Like, let's say we have this robust education system in America, and then we had a flat earther who is going against what is common knowledge that the earth is not flat. I don't think this deserves censorship. The specific instance of the Holocaust denial is that it is never just, hey, I'm questioning this source document, or hey, I'm not quite sure about this. It is specifically going so far as to advocating for it to happen again and promoting a Nazi party, which is calling for violence, which is calling for the excised of certain peoples. And so this specifically, with this specific topic, I think is pretty much similar to the First Amendment violations of you're calling for violence, or you're trying to incite violence, or you're trying to like sow discord and destroy a political system. So I believe this is a specific type of thing when I believe there is sufficient evidence for it to lead to these things, as Germany has deemed it so. I think that's okay to censor, but it's not just you're going against the educational narrative. But real quick, I'm curious, based on everything I've seen from you, hey, do you think the Holocaust happened?
I do believe it happened.
How many Jews do you think died in the Holocaust?
Too many, and I know you don't find that answer satisfying.
Yeah, well, like if you had to like pick a number, if you had to pick a number between 0 and 10 million, how many Jews do you think died in the Holocaust?
So it's not deaths on all sides. It's just Jews on one side.
No, I'm just curious how many Jews you think died in the Holocaust. I'm not saying the total number of deaths. Period. There's like a specific number of Jews that died in the Holocaust that most people think happened. I'm curious how many you think died.
So I believe it's entirely possible it was that number.
Wait, I didn't say what the number was. What do you think the number is?
Well, I know exactly what we both know the number. We could both.
I don't know. You're not saying it, so I'm curious what you think the number of Jews that died in the Holocaust is.
We both know the number.
Do we? You're not saying it. I don't have to say it at the same time because I don't know if there's going to be a stream lag, and maybe you'll copy my mouth. So just tell me.
Say 6 million. Are you going to say 6 million?
I'm going to say 6 million. How many are you going to say?
I just said 6 million as
well. No, but do you believe 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust? Let me try to translate.
Yes, do you think it's less than 6 million?
I think here's where I am, and I go sort of step by step.
Hold on. Go step by step with me. Do you think it's less than 6 million?
I think that the math on the rate at which certain things happen doesn't seem supported by.
Okay, so you think it's less than 6 million? Do you think it's less?
I want to ask Soy Pill something.
Wait, no, I want to press you a little more.
We're gonna figure this out. Do you think it's less than 5 million?
I think that it's at a floor. It's 500,000. It's probably at least 2 million. It could be 6 million.
Okay, so anywhere from 500,000 to 6 million, but you think it's more likely 2 million.
So.
No, I think I don't. I can't weigh probabilities on that. I have there's doubts.
To be clear, the reason I ask is because I knew you were a fucking dipshit Holocaust denier, and the asking me about the censorship thing, well, like kind of seemed like a so did mine. Okay, so did, yep, me too, buddy. But the reason I ask is because you were coming at me in what appeared to be good faith, and I was like, this is weird. This is out of character for what I know of this person, and just I just wanted to get it out in the open that you don't believe the official narrative on the Holocaust. But thank you for confirming that.
Thanks for calling in, Stream Rift.
Okay.
We might bring you in if no one else shows up. There's only one person backstage. Does no one have a problem with Soy Pill? But anyway, we might bring you back if no one else.
Well,
Well, he
shows
did
up
have one
soon.
more. Wait, he did have one more
What was-
question, right? You
Oh,
had
one more
one more.
question.
Yeah,
Go
there
ahead,
was
fine.
something, and it was so on that. So if I understand correctly, you treat it as fire starter language, and the concept
Similarly,
is there's
yeah,
already the
but
framework for having this happen, and we're afraid of reviving an ideology, not merely that.
Well, not
when you
just
were saying
reviving
it,
the
that's what it
ideology,
sounded
because
like
the
it
ideology
triggered
never
off. It
disappeared.
made
It's
a lot of
also about getting power. This is why Nazi parties are literally banned in Germany, and the AfD is like on the precipice of like, hey, like you keep having Nazis in power, but you're not officially platform as a Nazi, like the NSDP or whatever. So they're, it's not just, oh, we're afraid of reviving the ideology because it didn't go away. It's, we will not let you get power. We have put the, stopgaps, or not stopgaps, but we've put the blockers to say you cannot ever achieve what you achieved back in the 40s or 30s.
So, as proof of my good faith, you've actually shaded that in for me in a way that makes a lot more sense, and I'm more on Team Censor that than I was when I started. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Well, maybe we have to have a blue pill you on the Holocaust numbers. Like,
I'm down
we
to
did
try.
it. We did it.
I'm
We
not
showed that
hostile.
6
I'm
million
not
Jews died.
hostile.
We did it.
I just want to
Okay.
be able to use math when I look at stories. That's
Bye-bye.
all I
Wait.
ask
Okay.
for.
Wait.
Thank
Wait.
you.
Wait.
No,
Is
no,
the
bye-bye.
reason?
Wick
No.
says bye.
Is
Okay,
the
now, are
reason?
we
Wait,
keeping
real quick.
him, or we?
No,
we can,
I
we
need
can
to
bring
ask
in more
because now
people.
I need to ask this. Is the reason you'll
Okay,
believe it because it's like, well, there's this many ovens and this many camps, and they couldn't have burned this many bodies, like that stupid narrative, or is there like a different reason you
Well,
don't believe the numbers?
so I look at complex systems. Even if I took all of that and put it in one bucket, there's still so many other things that happened. So I view that as a part of the equation, but not the full equation. It could be that you do all of that math and you come to a number, and there's 5 to 20 to 100 other things. And so I'm not willing to put much weight on any singular argument.
Mhm.
But I think that math makes sense. I think that we should consider it at least.
Just to be clear, most of them weren't cremated. Like, that's kind of the whole point. Like, a bunch of them were just fucking starved to death, or shot and thrown in a ditch,
Right.
or
Who
cremated, or
says you have
gassed,
to
or
burn it, or it's not?
yeah.
You're dead before you
Look,
get
there's a lot of
cremated.
ways to kill Jews, and the Nazis figured them all out. So, all right. Anyway,
And that was
thanks.
terrible.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
by,
you.
buddy.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Of course.
Died famous. Hold on, I'm gonna mute myself so I can read these. Thank you for the
Yeah,
$5. Died
he's reading
famous.
super
Here's
chats,
some
gang.
protein powder, a boiled chicken, and rice. Get that griff. Thank you for the 2.
We'll get to
About
super
6 or
chats
7
in a
million.
bit,
Thank you.
But yeah, if you have questions for him and you don't want to come on, just super chat him, and I'll ask. I'm seeing some people in chat saying like Soy Pill is a liar, so engaging with him is a waste of time. And then another guy says nobody likes Soy Pill, so he's not worth the time to waste on. Gang, please,
Get
I
in here
beg
and say it to my face.
come
you
on, I will
little
make
shit.
him answer your questions. Okay, I will force it. Hello, guest. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm a big fan of both your channels, by the way. And I'd also just like to say that I think about 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, just to get that out of the way.
Thank you.
When
Thank
I'm
you.
talking to
In
a
fact,
hot
wait, yeah,
girl,
Wick,
I
every
think
single
it's
person
like
from
10
now
million.
on,
Yeah.
every single person from now on has to tell me how many Jews died in the Holocaust before they're allowed to ask a question, okay?
That's a good litmus test.
No, I thank you for introducing this. Okay,
okay.
go ahead.
So I'm curious to hear both your answers to this question, actually. But like in the U.S., when political disagreements are coming down to like fundamental moral conflicts, like in situations where people are not just like brainwashed by like 20 years of Fox and MSNBC and all that, like in real substantial debate, considering the fact that we have to like live together as a country at the end of the day, like how do you resolve that? How do you have a society and a government where people who disagree have to like work together? Because it's worked really well for like 250 years, and I'm not saying that's like coming to an end now, but it sure feels that way some days.
You want to take it first? You want me to?
Sure. I mean, like, I'm a little confused because, like, it's a very broad question, right? Like, there's never been a country in existence where everyone in this country agreed on what to do.
Sure.
Every country from America to any other Western, like, major democracy has a huge wide sway of opinion, sometimes more than us. Like, if anything, we're super polarized. You go to Germany and they have to form coalitions between the Socialist Democrats and the Conservative Party and the Green Party and the Libertarian Party, because otherwise they won't be able to form a majority government. And they're able to make it work, although they are being taken over by fascists. Like, yeah, disagreements happen, but like ultimately the only way it fails is if everyone fundamentally disagrees on what people need, like the basics of human rights and like the basics of where to take the country. Like, hey, half the country doesn't want to go to war in Iraq. Well, that didn't matter. We still did it. Like, that didn't break our country. But if half the country thinks if you're a Democrat, you should die, then yeah, that's the point in which it becomes untenable. Even
which
like
is the
think
situation we find ourselves in.
well, no, we're not close to that yet. No one's really calling for the death of every Democrat. I know the president's getting damn close
Except the
with his
yeah,
like calling them pests and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, it's getting really scary. But we are not at the like I can't live with my neighbor sort of thing. Like, more people are reasonable than this. And if you're at the point where like think about this, we lived through segregation and that didn't break our country. Like, sure, we had a civil war over slavery, sure, like that's the closest we've gotten, but at the same time, like we were able to go through, hey, half the country or a good chunk of the country, or even when the Civil Rights Act was passed, 30% of the country thinks the Civil Rights Act shouldn't be passed and that we should have segregation. We still made it through that. And so as much as I hate what's happening right now, I don't think that we are at the point where I disagree with my neighbor, therefore we don't have a country anymore is going to happen. We have to get a lot further down the line before we're at like Civil War levels.
That's fair. I agree with that. I think what's unique, the reason that it's unique in the U.S. right now, because like, sure, societies with people who have fundamental moral disagreements have existed for all of time, but you know, the use of violence to maintain that status quo is much more accepted, I guess. And in a democratic society, it's not.
So, I know it's Soy Pill versus the world, but you asked us both. And
Yep.
I mean, I think there's a simpler answer to this than many people realize. I think we need to stop making every issue national, and think we need to limit federal power. One of the ways in which you can really um, decide like to live with people who are more like you is by going to local places with local governments and making the decisions that are right for your local communities. One of the strengths of our system is we do have states' rights. Now, Trump is trying to trample all over them recently, but that's just another way with his ICE raids and things like that. But that's just another reason to defend them. So I think the solution is to really focus once again on communal rights, states' rights, and the rights of localities, and really reinforce the barriers between the federal government and what they can do to enforce federal law everywhere all at once, and just kind of tone that down. And we have the tools to do that. I don't think it's necessary that we go to like fucking civil war or anything right now.
Interesting.
But
I'm curious what you think about that, Soy Pill.
No, I mean, I agree to an extent. Obviously, yeah, Trump is eroding a lot of the states' rights concepts, which was very ironic right now that unilateral executive power is the alignment of the party of states' rights. But ultimately, yeah, like we can work together, and the differences between states is usually not the point of contention to where like Texas is going to invade California because of the abortion law distinction, right? Like again, it would have to get insanely bad. Like, just as an example, Michael Knowles' show I went on last week, and his producer was like texting me.
Oh, I
They're
didn't watch that.
editing the show. It's not out yet, but it's like, look, I can be friendly with these people, even though I think they're destroying the country. In the same way that like they think that promoting trans rights is like eradicating the youth, like we're killing our birth rate. Like, they're able to look at that and say, I think you're disagreeing. Now, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of the Daily Wire hosts are bad faith and evil. But at the very least, like I can talk to a Republican and not be like, I want you to die. It's more just like, wow, I really don't like what you're doing. I think this is horrible. But like at least I could be like, haha, funny joke, and let's battle it out and try to work toward an agreement. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting that of everyone, especially not for the people that are let's say trans, for example, who are like, hey, I don't want to be nice to Michael Knowles who said eradicate transgenderism. But there's obviously a spectrum of this, but again, it's not at the point where I'm like at their throats literally. That's very far away.
Okay.
But closer than we've ever been in a long time.
yeah, thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, but I have one more quick question.
One more question. Go ahead.
Okay. Soy Pill, you're familiar with Ryan Getty, right?
Yeah, of course, Mr. Ryan,
Yeah,
Mr. G,
okay.
Vitamin R.
Yeah. So for those who aren't familiar, he has this shtick about how liberalism needs to like have moral content in it again.
Yep.
And since there's no longer like what he calls consensus liberalism, where everybody kind of agrees that like liberalism is the status quo we should all agree on, and then have policy debate from there. That since we don't live in that environment anymore, we need to emphasize like the the whole liberty, equality, fraternity part of liberalism that it has traditionally had. And I was curious on your thoughts about that.
I kind of agree. I mean, like, if you think about the Dave Rubins and even Tim Pool, but worse, have tried to steal the word liberal and be like, well, I just believe in freedom of speech. I think you could super heavily lean on this idea of like a new Bill of Rights or like individual freedom and kind of steal some of that back, this like moralistic framework. I know Rokana, and this is just because I've talked a lot about him, has like the Internet Bill of Rights, or some people talk about like the new Bill of Rights. So like, yeah, I don't think that's a bad position to have, and that's something that they could do to kind of what I was going to say coagulate, but join, make a connection between progressivism and populism and liberalism using like moralist framework. Yeah, no, Ryan's usually on point with those stuff. There's a reason he was in a ladder segment, because he's smart and we love Ryan, but he's too tall. It makes me feel small.
Isn't he like 6'2"?
He's huge.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. Whick, you need to get Ryan Getty on here.
Yeah, get Ryan on.
You know what? Anytime he wants to come on, we'll make a show for him. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Thanks.
Ooh, we're gonna let Pisco skip the line, I think.
No,
The
get
big-
Pisco in here. Oh,
Huh?
skip the line. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
skip the line a little
Get
bit.
Pisco in here. What's he got to say? He's gonna ask me a yes or no question, I'm sure.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, sorry, Pisco. Hi.
Pisco, do you have a camera?
What
yes
up?
or no?
I don't have a camera right now. I don't have
What you got,
access.
brother?
What's up?
All right, this is what I have for you. So, Soy Pill, you're known for some bombastic rhetoric and for, I don't know if you would accept this framing, but crossing the line of good taste at times in terms of edginess. Do you think that's a fair characterization?
Good taste. I think, well, the thing is, what I would define as bad taste is like the joke isn't funny enough for how mean you're being. So like if someone's like like making a joke about someone who just got like raped, and it's like, okay, like maybe that joke was, maybe it's like a little funny, but it's like this person's at the worst point of their life right now. Like that was pretty bad. That's like when it's bad taste. But my jokes are great. So it would be a really funny day after the rape joke that was absolutely worth it. So no, it's not a bad taste.
So there's like a day after kind of rule. Like there are some
no.
lines
It could
for
be an
you
hour.
because-
It's a graph, right? Like it has to be this funny post tragedy for it to be still in good taste. And sometimes it's
Interesting. So-
funnier if it just happened.
Sometimes it's funnier. So like Charlie
because-
Kirk jokes,
yeah.
for example.
Yes, like Charlie Kirk jokes won't be nearly as funny in 20 years because it's not.
Would you soy out about like Renee Good jokes? People who do soy jacks of
The problem
Renee
is
Good.
the soy jacks of Renee Good aren't really funny. If someone made like a really good Renee Good joke, I'd probably laugh at it. Yeah.
Because you're sitting next to the real Soy Pill, which is Whick TV.
True.
And Whick has this like everybody love everybody attitude.
Yeah.
We
I
had
don't know
a
if you've
debate on
watched
this,
Semi-Pro.
Yeah.
Me
Wick
and
is like
Soy
you.
Pill.
Yeah.
It's bad to celebrate the death of Hitler.
I think you shouldn't celebrate the death.
Really?
I don't think
Yeah.
you should celebrate death. I think there's no. It
I
doesn't.
couldn't
give you
even
anything.
straw
I
man
think that
myself
you
to be
can
so soy
just-
as you, Wick. Impossible.
Just to clarify my stance here, so I don't get strawmanned. I think that it's fine to feel relief. It's fine to feel like, oh, I'm glad it's over, these things. But I think when you celebrate the death of even your enemies, I think it makes you less of a person. I think it makes you value life less. It desensitizes you, and people it
is
starts
ice.
down
This
a
is an
dangerous
ice
path
drink.
that I
I'm
don't
drinking
think
ice.
has any benefit. I think it makes you a worse person. That's
Wait,
it.
how
Here's-
many
here's
how
my-
many
go for it.
deaths of Hitler would you have to celebrate to make you as bad as Hitler?
An untold number, obviously, right? Obviously, actually killing people.
Oh, also
Worse.
Pisco, how many Jews died in the Holocaust?
Well, the numbers state exactly 6 million Jews.
Uh-huh.
That's what the best evidence suggests.
Okay.
You guys got so triggered that even not starting with the syllable S got you guys a little triggered. Okay.
Well, we just had a guy on earlier who.
Well, if
We-
you
we
ask
went
how
on
many
a
Jews
thing.
died in the Holocaust, your first word is well.
Well, technically,
The
was
official
5 million
The
of-
official narrative.
actually, I think there are ranges that go from like 5 million upwards. It's like I do think that there is a range that's accepted within the
Yeah. I mean,
academic community.
You had to estimate for a lot. It's like you got a pile of Jew chunks in a pit somewhere. And it's like, 50?
Yikes.
I don't fucking know. Like,
They did a lot of they did a lot of rounding. Oh, but my question is gonna be, I'm not gonna try. This isn't Fed posting. All right, it's not Fed posting.
Okay.
It's not. It really isn't. Will you feel relief? In other words, will you think it's good when Donald J. Trump, through natural causes, is no longer among us?
Are you asking me or Wig?
Both of you.
I will feel good. I will
not advocating anything. Not advocating
I
anything.
will feel good. I will probably celebrate. Yeah, obviously, I wouldn't advocate for his death because why waste the energy? He's gonna die. He's so old. And it's silly because I think it's going to be worse if he dies because the JD Vances and the Stephen Millers are going to get more power to do things. Right now, I think they're kind of like steering the old man Trump. So I'll be happy that like a bad person is no longer with us, and I might even do a little crab rave for like a day. But ultimately, I think it's going to be worse for the country when he dies. I think I'm very happy that the assassination attempt on him failed. I think had he died there, he would have been martyred, and we would have had like 10 years of just like even more fascist crazy shit, way worse than we're seeing now. But I think it's totally fine to celebrate, and I think the fact that a horrible person is no longer doing horrible things is good.
Wick, what do you think about that?
I think, again, feeling a sense of relief or emotion like that, that's fine. But I would caution people from celebrating or anything like that. I don't think it has utility. I don't think it does anything good. If you want to hold your own little private party, like if a tree falls in the forest, no one hears it. Okay, fair enough, right? But the people who are going on to social media, making all these memes, making all these jokes, it might feel good,
some
but I
people
don't
will be
think it
canceled.
helps.
If he were to die and he were still in office at the time he died, they would try to cancel a bunch of people who celebrated.
And they shouldn't do that either, but just because I don't think someone should be canceled doesn't mean I think what they're doing is right.
Wait, what's worse, Wick? Canceling someone for making a Charlie Kirk joke the day after he dies, or making a Charlie Kirk joke the day after he dies?
Canceling someone for it, probably.
Okay. Even though you're too soy, I agree that what one is worse, and I appreciate that.
I mean, there's a spectrum here. Like, if it depends on what you're doing, but in 90% of the cases, I would say the person who is trying to cancel someone for making a joke that they find in bad taste is worse than the person who's making the bad taste joke.
Okay. And then my last sort of, and then I'll let you guys go, because I do think that sometimes I like really appreciate having like edgy people nearby who say funny things, but then I kind of feel guilty that I don't always do the edgy thing. I'm laughing at it, right? I'm laughing when Kalinsky tweets. I'm laughing with when Soy Pill might tweet something. But am I just like chicken shit for not doing it myself?
You're chicken shit for not liking and reposting my tweet, for sure, because I know you don't. I know because I would see it would give me the little notification that my mutual liked it. So I know you're laughing at the tweet and don't like it.
Do you think I'm chicken shit if I privately like a tweet, like in my mind, like put it in my catalog, but don't like signal boost it? So even though I would if it weren't, because it's not something I would say, but it is something I would laugh at.
If you would laugh and you don't want to like it because you think liking it would be seen. I mean, first of all, likes I think are still private, but let's just say they weren't. If you didn't want to like it because you don't want to be seen like endorsing this because you're like, I get it, it's funny, but that's not okay, like, sort of thing, I think that's fine. I don't think you're chicken shit. And if you don't want to make the joke yourself because you're like, maybe it's a little funny, but I don't like the rhetoric that it brings, or I don't think it's worth the pain that it might cause someone else, I think this is not a soy thing to do. I think this is completely fair. That said, if you think it's funny and you would make the joke in private, but you won't make it in public, not because you think it'll make the Discord worse, because your audience captured, I think you're a pussy.
Okay, got it. All right, the last type of thing, and then I'll leave you guys. So I sometimes am trying to be more self-aware of not defining myself too much as an opposition figure to Trump. In other words, making my identity revolve around being just sort of negative towards Trump. Yeah. Right. And I think, sometimes I try to be more general in terms of defining who I am, the law guy who talks about lib stuff and the democracy and constitution, whatever. But sometimes I lean into it too much. And I'm not going to ask you, Soy Pill, post-Trump, how are you going to try to define yourself as Soy Pill? There is some of that edginess. There's some of that humor. There's certainly libness. But how are you going to look to chart yourself as a commentator, as
like the reason my channel blew up was because of Trump in the election. So in part, like, if he were to disappear, if we had the Democrats and the more left-wing Democrats as the only two parties, like, would I even have relevance anymore? I think so, and I hope so. I think, like, if I were to move away from I'm just shitting on Republicans because they're less relevant, like, the reason I wouldn't make, like, a Nick Fuentes video now is because it's like, this is not big enough for me to care, versus, like, let's talk about people that are in the mainstream influencing millions of people and actually get policy passed. Like, that's more important. Yeah, if we had like the Democrats, you can look, and like, I have some videos where I'm criticizing the Democrats. I think ultimately my channel would be about, let's push Democrats and criticize Democrats to be more progressive. Let's have like a more progressive leaning channel that's not just,
interesting.
reactionary.
Do you identify as progressive?
I mean, kind of, but then like other people are like, does that mean you believe this? Or like, that means you agree with all of the progressive victory tenets on the progressive victory pledge. I'm like, well, I don't believe in a federal $25 minimum wage. So like, am I progressive? I think so, but like, yeah.
But you wouldn't be identifying yourself as a socialist anytime soon. Fair enough.
I mean, like Bernie Sanders, what is it, sock dem or dem sock? I always get confused, but like, no.
Got it. But is that more because you don't affiliate yourself with the word as much? It doesn't feel like the right word.
Anyone who does affiliate themselves with it, I don't usually agree with. I'm usually a lot more less left. I would say more right, but it does not really make sense. It's less.
So aren't you a victim of your own criticism when it comes to the kind of soying out type, not being upfront type shit? Because what you're saying is,
don't hide
I would call myself socialist in the sense of the Bernieism, but I don't do it because
I call myself
other people who use it.
Social democrat.
Social democrat.
That's what Bernie calls himself, and that makes sense because I agree with like most of Bernie's rhetoric. Yeah.
That sounds good. All right, thank you guys so much. And
wait, I have a
question
for you right before you go. Please go.
Yeah.
Someone in my chat said, "Are we gonna kiss?"
Oh shit! I mean, we could. Okay. When are we gonna meet?
Super chat goal. Okay.
There was a very
in LA.
What I was gonna say, Pisco. There was a opportunity for a meetup. It got canceled before I spread the word because it wasn't like confirmed. No, it was in LA. It was for some like politician thing, but it never got set up, so I never talked to the Live and Learn folks. But next time that happens, we're all meeting up. We're all wearing the hats.
And we're all kissing.
We're all kissing. Okay.
All right, and this is in LA. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Coming on.
See you next week.
Yep.
Well, look at that. How sweet your co-host.
Soy Pill sucks off the world is what this stream should be called.
Perhaps. Let's bring on the next.
Get a mean person in here. My blood pressure's too low.
I don't know some of these people. Some of these people I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Hello.
Okay.
Hi. I've talked with Soy Pill before, on a TikTok thing. That was a little more. This one's gonna be a little more serious.
Wait, how many during the Holocaust?
Fuck! I fell asleep during history class. Like 4. It's 6 million. It's 6 million. And like people love
if you said at least 4, I'd agree. That's technically true.
Dude, you're not supposed they can't put them all in ovens. It's definitely like a margin number, but I do believe that there were atrocities committed against the Jewish people during the Holocaust. Is it 6 million? Most likely, maybe less, maybe more, but I'm not going to deny that there were atrocities done.
Get the Joe Biden answer. Don't play games with me, kid. At least 3.
I literally just liked a tweet that was about that. Just him, don't play with me. Anyway.
Okay, what you got for Soy Pill here, buddy?
Okay, 3 quick questions, just because I don't want to take too many people's time.
I'm not even gonna think. I'm just gonna react. Go.
First, well, you can talk in depth about them. I don't care. So the first one is has to do with Republicans. Obviously in Florida right now, there is a candidate for Florida governor named James Fishbach.
Yeah, the Groiper. Yeah, I know of him.
Yeah, the Groiper guy. Do you think he's gonna get there, or do you think he's another Valentina Gomez situation?
I mean, clip this for when he wins, but like, I don't think he's gonna win. I don't think he has much support. I think he's like, 1, he's not very charismatic and he's kind of weird looking. 2, he's a Groiper, but he doesn't look like an Aryan, so like even the Groipers are kind of like, eh. And 3, like if his ideas are at all tenable, which they don't seem to be, like I don't really think he's gonna get a big portion, but there's a chance. I mean, like, is there polling on this already? Like James Fishbach polling? I think he's like not doing very well.
Not much as of right now. It's still very early on in the race. It's still like most people are calling it. The thing with him is that he's already getting major support from like
it's 40. Like, wait, real quick. Let me just read this before I forget.
But like the more streaming ones. He was on
Well,
Tucker Carlson.
he's getting support from
spoke-
groypers and pundits, but like if
Yeah.
you just look at like who's gonna vote, it's 76-6. It's like not even. It's like this is insanely big margins. Now this could change, and I could be proven wrong. I don't think this guy's going to go anywhere. I think this is like you brought up a good version, which is the Valentina Gomez. Like it's just like, oh, look at me, I'm shooting an immigrant like effigy or whatever. Look at me, like I'm saying something awful, like, and then they don't win because they're like so crazy.
Just howling dog whistles, that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Second question.
All right. This one was so obviously if you're on Twitter, I saw you had that spat with like with Hassan. In all honesty, this was kind of getting merged into my third question now. How do you feel about Democrats who sort of run on this thing that I like to call like the all or nothing policy, where this candidate has to support this thing, or this is obviously like a Kamala Harris thing. She didn't speak out against the Palestinian genocide, and a lot of like Democrat Democrat influencers were like, well, I can't advocate for Kamala Harris because she didn't say this. How do you feel about like those kind of like ideas? Do you think
I'm a walk and chew gum guy. It's like, look, anyone who's like the Democrats are perfect, if you don't support them, you're wrong. Like I think the problem is the left says if you say vote blue no matter who, you're pledging fealty, versus what I'm saying is criticize them all you want, but also do everything in your power, given that it's a general against Trump, to stop Trump from winning. So yeah, go out and canvass and door knock and phone bank and say, hey, I hate her policy on this, but ultimately she's going to be not marginally better, significantly better on all of these policies. We need to get her to win, and we need to push her to be better on this. But you know what you're going to have an absolutely zero fucking push with? The Republicans when they win. So like if you don't win in the primary, like what happened to me twice, which is Bernie Sanders did not win, then you do everything you can to get the Hillary or the Joe Biden elected, and then be like, all right, now be more progressive. And that happened with Joe Biden. I mean, like he did really well with like labor stuff. He passed a lot of progressive legislation. I think it's a little funny when people say he's the most progressive president we've ever had, but it's kind of true depending on which policies you look at. And it's like, look, this is not my ideal candidate. I'm not going to fucking get on the ground and do a non-fawn and have my Joe Biden mural behind me. But like,
why not?
It's so it's so silly to me that it's like, well, don't get me wrong, I understand holding out for a concession as long as you can, but like when you do this over and over and it doesn't work, then at the very least, like try to get that person elected and then push them when you have like the ability to hold their feet to the fire. Because doing it during the general, I think hurts them and you more than it helps you. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, I mean, this obviously I've seen like I finally remember what my third thing was. Look, I'm not going to give praise to the guy. I hate his fucking guts. But if there's one thing I agree with Jack Posobiec about, and that's a horrible thing to say. That's like fucking saying I agree with Hitler.
Get through it. Let's go.
The amount of Jews.
Infighting leads us nowhere. Infighting within a Democrat party, and this has especially come up recently with ICE. I do not support ICE. I think the killing of Renee Good was terrible. But if we're gonna make like legislation, we shouldn't be like fighting with our constituents over like, if you don't agree with me on this specific issue, you're with the Republicans. You're siding with the Republicans on this. And obviously, in certain situations, that is reasonable. But if it's a bill where it's like, look, we should abolish ICE. It should be abolished. Can we abolish it?
That's the moderate position, no.
It is moderate, but it's not. I don't want to say it's not realistic because it can be done, but it's not like a flip the switch, no more ICE kind of situation. It needs to be like
bleed the responsibilities into other departments and administration.
Yeah, it's got to be like broken down. Are you trying to talk about single issue voter? Kinda. Well, I don't want to say I'm a centrist. I like to say, I believe trans rights are human rights. Everyone is human. There's no such thing as an illegal person. But the big thing I don't like is single issue people where it's like, if you're not doing this, I can't support you. I'm just going to like sit down and let the other party win because I don't like this policy.
So just to steel man their position. Like, let's say I'm Hassan or anyone else who has a position. It's not, I'm letting the other party win. In their eyes, and I disagree with this, but in their eyes, what they're saying is, you're going to lose because of the thing I take issue with. Now, you can change, and I will support you if you change, but whether or not you win is contingent on this change. And so it's not I'm sitting out, it's you're not agreeing with me, and if you agreed with me, you'd win. That's their position. And I think this is wrong, but that's the reason they do that. It's not like, oh, I was the one who could have won the election. It's you lost. It's your fault because of this policy you took. However, if you took the policy in the way that I agree with it, you would have won, and then I would have supported you.
The problem with that, however, is at least for the leftists, like the far leftists and things, that doesn't seem to bear out in actual practice. Leftists don't win elections, and you got Mamdani, and that's about it. But yeah, thanks, caller, for calling
Last
in.
question I'm going to say.
Last
before
question. You've had 3.
Look, I know, but Sanic then Hedgehog has a very good point. Yo, Soy Pill, can you stack donuts on it?
No, because I don't have any donuts.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
My apologies. You have a nice night.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. Good to know.
Do you ever get objectified constantly, Whick, and think this is just what women deal with all the time? And you're like, damn, so happy I'm a guy.
Sometimes, but I monetize that shit, right? Which all smart women do. So if you want to like get me to take my shirt off or something, $50 in the chat, right? And I'll do it. You need something like that. You'd make a lot more money than I do, but I've made over $1,000 doing that. So
Okay.
I mean, it's a good.
Look,
good
I'll say this. I've said this on stream before. I don't have an OnlyFans, but I did consider at one point, and I do have a ring light.
Let's read some super chats and we'll bring in the next person. $2 from Zephyr Hash to say, I'm a fan of anyone who's a fan of Community. Pop. Okay.
Pop. That's from Community. Because I said Britta, because Jillian Jacobs plays Britta, and Community's great. That was my pandemic show.
$5 from the Pleb. Everyone knows Soy's worst take by far is being friends with Taylor Lorenz. Are you her friend?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So we started off contentious, and then we talked a little more. And she expressed some concerns. I was like, you know what, like in the same way that if I can at least be buddy, like not like I love you and let's hang out and get dinner and talk about how much we have in common with some Republican, which I have. I have Republican friends. Why can't I be more friendly with a progressive? Like, even if I disagree with a lot of her takes, like, there's no reason not to be like, hey, let's get some food and talk about stuff. Like, we don't have to be arguing all the time.
There's a difference between being cordial, friendly, courteous, polite, and I'm friends with this person.
What's the difference?
I think I can be friendly with almost anyone, right? But being friends with someone implies a relationship, some support structures and things that I don't think should apply to certain people.
Okay.
Like I could be
friends. Do you think Taylor Lorenz, if Taylor Lorenz was in a financial destitute situation and I offered to like help her, you think I shouldn't do this because of her politics?
No, I mean, I think that's a good thing to do even for people who aren't your friends.
Okay, right. But what I'm saying is, like, I have a Republican friend, and like I would die for this guy. Like, I love him. I hate his politics, but I love him. And sure. I think I can do that. If I can do that for him, I could probably do that for someone I'm less close with who is more aligned with my politics. Yeah, it's not that crazy to me.
Fair enough. I don't necessarily disagree. I just think that maybe we're using the term friend in a different way, and that's fair.
We're not like super close, deep friends. Let's stay up till 3 a.m. and talk about our lives. We're like, hey, let's chat every once in a while. I'll see your tweet, and I'll be like, oh, you need an editor, like, or like, hey, have you wrote an article? Like, we're not like, oh my god, Taylor and I, let's gossip about all the. What if
they did something like, what if she raped someone? Would you still be their friend, or be friendly?
So I'm not saying any of this is true, but I don't know. Wick, would you have Destiny on your show? like.
Yeah, but do you think we hang out and stay up till 3
a.m.? That's what I'm saying. Oh, like if my friend was a rapist, would I still be friends with him? No. If I like was pretty sure they did it, absolutely not. I would not be friends with them.
Fair enough.
And to be clear, again, these are allegations. I'm not saying you did that. I'm just saying, like, the point is you still associate with people with potential allegations. Like, if I watched Taylor Lorenz rape a person, I would absolutely not be buddy with her.
Destiny rape a person, I wouldn't have him on my show either.
Cool, we're on the same page.
Just to answer the allegations, right? Like,
well, there's no allegations at that point. You watched it happen.
Yeah. I'd be like, you raped someone on my show. What the fuck? Or not on my show, right? That would be crazy. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
I know what
We
you mean.
understand each other. I get. Like I'm with you. I'm parallel with you. I don't know. It's something to interrogate. Audacity for $5 says makes sense for Kentucky because the parents of the kids have the same mom and dad anyway.
That's pretty good.
$5 from AKA Batozai. And here's a good actual question. What right-wing policies would Soy Pill call good policies?
What right-wing policies would I call good? I think I mean, if I'm comparing to Democrat policies, a lot of the gun laws, like I'd rather have the Republican policy on ammo than live in California and have to do like a surcharge and a wait period for ammo and a background check. Like this is silly. That's one of them. Obviously, I want more gun control, but the way that Democrats go about it, I think, is ridiculous to the point of alienating anyone who is remotely knowledgeable about guns. Let's think. I mean, if we're comparing like minimum wage policies, I think the Republican minimum wage is let's abolish it, which is awful. The only place where that really works is if you're like in Denmark and they have unions to discuss it. But I do think the crappy low minimum wage is still better than if we set it at like 30, which is some Democrats are proposing. So not much. I'd have to think about it more. I think guns is the big one. Maybe like when they pull back on like sweeping things that kind of override states' rights. Yeah, I don't know. That's all that's coming to my brain right now. I'm sure you
What?
could.
Other than gun control, which again, like they like guns unless a black person has a gun, and then suddenly they're worried about that black person with a gun in a protest. Like, oh my God, he's going to kill
That's why there's gun
someone.
control in California because Reagan got scared of Black Panthers.
Fair enough. I don't know what the actual policies of the right wing currently are. I know traditionally what they would be. Like I could give you like from 10 years ago or even 15 years ago what conservative policy, right wing policy looked like. But now it just seems to be, what does Trump want to do? That's the right wing policy.
Oh, that's fair. I guess I'm thinking more traditional. And actually, you just reminded me, like the kind of I don't agree with like enforcing nuclear families or like this needs to be the standard, but I like the idea of community and having like community kind of not like being encouraged. I like the idea of maybe like tax breaks for extra kids. Not again penalizing people who don't have kids, which I think is the current Republican way. They're like, yeah, if you don't have a child, like you don't get this tax break. It's like weird where it's more of a negative pull than a push. But yeah, stuff like this. I like it, but it depends on how it's implemented. So right now the Republicans are so insane that probably nothing you could say would be the same.
$10 from No Fucking Way to say small government, local issues, and no death should be celebrated. Based Soy Pill, quote, if you don't post it because your audience whipped, then you're a pussy, end quote. True. $2 from Esoteric Dichotomy. Would you trade minimum wage for a UBI or targeted BI?
I don't know if I've seen UBI work in ways that are sufficient enough to like convince me it's a good idea. Obviously, I think at a certain point when we automate things and it's like most things are automated, we're going to need either UBI or like just abolish money, but this is so far in the future that I can't imagine what it would look like.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start bringing some more people in. You're live.
Oi.
Hello.
Right. Wait, hold on. Let me mute that YouTube side. Hold on.
Yeah, take your time.
And also consider how many Jews died in the Holocaust.
I certainly don't just believe in the Holocaust. 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust.
Okay.
Here. Tell me if my mic is being a little bit wonky. It's being like.
You got what you
There's
got?
this weird problem where you're sounding like you're British, which I take issue with, but otherwise it's fine.
I'm not British. I'm not fucking British.
She sounds Australian.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear.
Can I say? I don't even.
Oh yeah, okay, I hear. You're good. You're good.
Right. Okay. So I was thinking about the transgender stuff, and I did think of like this one question for a liberal. Sorry, I'm fucking stuttering.
Okay.
That I think it might be the one. It might be the one. And I know you're thinking it's gonna be the what is the woman one, but it's not that one.
Okay.
It's kind of close, but it's not that one.
Okay.
It's, are you a woman?
Am I a woman?
Yeah.
Well, no. But if I wanted to be, I feel like I could.
You're not a woman, but if you wanted to be, you could be.
Yeah, why not?
So why aren't you a woman?
Would you make him a woman if you could?
I would not make him a woman if
Oh, no.
Why not?
if I could, because I don't believe that he could possibly just
You don't think
decide
I
to
would
become
pass?
a woman. I don't think that you pass. Certainly not. But
Well, I don't pass
I
now,
don't
but
think
you don't
that's,
think I could?
relevant to the question. I don't think you could. No.
The forced feminization allegations are not leaving. Look,
The
I mean, like,
persona.
are you fundamentally asking, like, what makes someone a woman? Like, is this kind of the, like,
Yes,
because
I suppose that's what I'm asking, because like I don't think that you actually believe in the whole if you're shit, what am I trying to say?
like
I don't think you
self-identification.
actually I don't think you believe in the self-identification thing.
Why don't you think? Well, first of all, we can get into what that means, but why don't you
Yeah.
think I believe it? I'm curious. Like, you think I'm being dishonest, or like just trying to
I think that
appease
that
the
you're
leftist mob, or what do you mean?
no, I think you're trying to appease the leftist mob
Okay,
because you're
okay.
very
So let me give you my full take, and you can tell me if you think I'm lying. Obviously, biological men can't change their biological makeup to become biological women, right? We're on the same page there.
you've just admitted my point.
Well, this
Like,
isn't
entirely.
anything new. Trans people
okay.
don't
I'd say he has
Tran-
been
yeah,
owned.
but hold on. Trans people aren't like, cool, I've changed my chromosomes. They're like, hey, I have dysphoria. This is an acknowledgement that my mind state is not in a line with my sex, and therefore I would like to at least try to match the sex that I'm not. Right? Like, I am not a biological woman, but I'm going to do everything I can to appear and act and sound and live my life as one. And this is something, like, regardless of whether you think this is valid or not, or that it's like, oh, they're just delusional, this is something people do. I know many people who do this, and when they do it, I'm like, this makes sense that this is what makes you happy. This doesn't seem to be causing you very much harm. You seem a lot happier when you're doing it. And so regardless of how you want to define woman or say that, like, this is how they should be treated, at the very least, I see them to say, oh, it makes sense that you're doing this, and you're asking me to call you she, her, and that you're a woman, and I'm going to do it. Does that part make sense so far?
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to get this in my head. So you're thinking that men can like being a woman, and you're fine with them trying to be a woman because that makes them happy.
Sure.
Okay. I certainly okay.
Do you have a problem with that?
I think no. Okay. So in their own home, when they be like, I'm not a man, I'm a woman. That's completely fine. But I'm not really saying that happen now. They're bringing it into our politics. They're bringing it into our like living spaces. They're bringing it into our classrooms, etc. Uh, it's just like that's not really what we're arguing on now, is it?
Okay,
Like,
wait.
What are
Sure.
you
Wait, hold on.
arguing
Just to be
on?
clear, wait, hold on. So we've said, sure, we acknowledge that there are people that know they can't change their biological sex and want to present a different way, and you're okay with socially saying, hey, I accept this, and I want to treat you the way you're asking to be treated. We were fine with this, but now we're moving on to, but if you're asking everyone to do it because it's in classrooms and society, this is where you take malice with the concept.
well, I'm not entirely seeing the point you're trying to make me see, right? So
Well,
I
okay,
think
well, just to be clear, it's not really a point. It's just what I do, which is I'm okay with doing this. If you want to say I'm not okay with treating them that way, that's your position. But you acknowledge that I'm not saying they're changing the biological sex. I'm just saying you've asked me to acknowledge you're changing the way you present and act and to call you a certain thing. And I'm saying that makes sense to me.
I mean, like I said, I certainly I just said that I'm fine with them doing it in their own homes. I'm not fine with them doing it in like the workplace because
Okay.
they are like making a bunch of lies.
Why are you not okay with someone presenting differently in the workplace?
Because like okay, it's kind of like uh people telling like saying things like it's okay to be gay like in their household, and then like that's fine because you're like
Mhm.
isolating the stuff.
Right.
But
Well, to
like
be clear, you don't think it's
yeah,
okay to be gay?
no.
Okay,
course not.
well, we don't even have to have a trans conversation because it seems your malice is you have a position on how people should act, and you're not okay with other people telling society it is okay to do this, right?
I mean, I kind of like, yeah, yeah.
Right. So you believe fundamentally being gay is wrong, for example, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a very, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
this is interesting because it comes to like a moral argument where let's say that society said being gay was wrong, which was what they did for most of society. And I came to you and said, I'm really not okay with teachers and people saying that we shouldn't be gay. And they're telling people that can't change who they are and how they express to not be the way they are and to hide it. I wouldn't be okay with this, and I would be in your position right now. This just comes down to a fundamental belief of what do you think makes the world a better place? And having met lots of gay people and interact with them and looked at all the data on what it's like to be gay and that you can't change it, I think it's better if we don't suppress this and force people to hide and shame them. But I understand that morally you just disagree with it, and that's not like a, hey, you're right, I'm right. You can just be wrong, like about the fact
Yeah.
that it's better for society if we push gay people into the closet because it's just
Can I
not.
also just ask, just real quick,
Yeah.
because people are asking in chat, are you drunk?
I'm not. I don't consume alcohol. It's not.
Are you
That's not
high
my
on
thing.
anything? Are you
I'm not
stoned?
high on
Right?
anything at all.
No candy? Okay. Just
Yeah.
curious.
Why do people always ask me
Because
this?
you're
This
very
question?
She's
you're
just
very
on the
high.
stage. She's got a little stage fright. She's in front of a
Fair
bunch of
enough.
people.
Just
It's fair.
curious.
I mean, this is just generally how I like understand. Like, not understand. What's the word that I'm looking for here? This is
The way you
generally
act?
like the mannerisms, the
Okay, that's fair.
the demeanor. Yeah, that type of thing.
I was just
Yeah.
Demeanor.
checking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah, but
Okay. Do you have anything else for Soy Pill, or are we good?
I suppose that's all. Yeah.
She just
Okay.
wanted to come in and tell me that she doesn't like gay and trans people. Okay,
And
thanks.
that you can never be a woman, Soy Pill. Okay.
Well, here, I'll leave it
Good.
at this. I want to leave it at this. Look, I understand you don't like gay people and trans people. You think this is like a moral sin
mean,
and that they should
don't-
change. Like,
I
I'm not
don't
trying to
know, like,
project it on.
I
It's not
don't
about you don't
know,
like them
hate
personally. You think the
people.
behavior is degenerate or whatever, right? Like, you think that they should change, right? And all I'm saying to you is that if you look at the way that society
I mean, I don't think
operates.
I'm degenerate. I just think that like.
Wait, are you
sometimes,
gay?
Like, I'm not gay. I'm not. Okay, I don't
Are you a
consider
little gay?
myself.
Just a smidge.
Oh, I mean, like that.
Okay.
That's kind of.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, well, okay, now my malice is with you is that not only are you advocating for worse things to happen to people by saying you should keep your shit in the closet, you're also gay, which is like, dude, fucking
I'm not
go
gay.
out there and kiss a
Wait,
woman on
wait,
the street.
no.
Come on.
I don't think that's like a okay. I don't think that's a good thing, and I'm not gonna advocate for other people
But you
to
want
do.
to. If it was,
But you
if
want to
did
kiss
think of it,
girls.
You want to. Like I want to do bad things too sometimes. Things
I don't
consider
want to do
bad,
the bad thing.
Sometimes I want to do
I'm
it.
not. I'm not. I have that affliction in me.
Who would you kiss?
I'm not gonna
Any girl
do
in the
that.
world. You
Oh
could kiss any
god.
girl in the
Okay,
world
this is
right
like
now.
the
Who
most
would it be?
internalized homo. Like you called the fact that you want to kiss girls an affliction. Look, I want to kiss girls and I'm not gay. I think you can do it. All right.
I mean, yeah, but that's different because you're a man.
How do you know?
I guess I don't entirely know.
What if I told you right now I was trans? Would that change your opinion on whether or not I should kiss girls?
And that would change that.
Why?
That would definitely change that.
How would this affect
Because then
anything?
you'll be a woman. You'll be
So?
a woman and not
Yeah,
a
but
man.
he
which
can't
is
be a
different.
woman,
So?
right?
I mean, no,
He's still biologically a man, so it's not gay.
No.
Let's get into, like,
I'm
a
saying
philosophical
assume I'm
thing.
a biological woman who looks and acts and
Oh,
presents as
okay,
a male.
okay,
Why
yeah,
would it not
okay.
be okay that I want to kiss girls?
I mean that's just kind of like against the nature of things, you know.
So is wearing clothes and talking on
It's-
headsets
no,
about gay people. That's not really
I'd like
anything
for you
found
to
in
present
natural.
me the argument for why you think that wearing clothes isn't natural.
Because clothes
like-
aren't natural. They're not found in nature. We had to invent them and cover ourselves because we like it. It's comfortable
I
and
mean,
it looks
yeah,
better.
yeah, but that's like a biblical thing, though. There are
So?
people wearing clothes.
That's
in
not the Bible isn't
all the
natural.
place.
The Bible happens
The
much
Bible-
later.
What do you mean the Bible isn't natural? It's the
not
first
natural.
book.
It's definitely not the
Not
first
the
book.
first book.
It's
You're
absolutely
saying
not
that
the
the
first
Bible
book.
isn't the first book.
The
Yes,
Bible was
it's
put together
demonstrably
in
historically not the first book.
26 AD, right? Or BC, I should say.
Yeah.
No, AD.
You know,
Yeah,
there's like the Torah, right? That came before the
I don't know
Bible.
what the Oh right, yeah, I know
Jew
there's
book.
horror.
The Jew
Yeah.
book. Jews.
I
Jews
wouldn't call it
first.
that because I'm not an anti. I don't call Jewish people Jews. It's kind
I
of weird.
I'm Jewish and I call Jewish people Jews, but I'm also probably way
I
more
mean,
anti-Semitic than you. So
that's chill though, because you're like Jewish yourself. So I don't know. It's just like historically, the Jew has been used as like a word to.
yeah, but it's like black, right? You can say black normally, and you can say black
though.
like a slur. Like it depends on how you're saying it.
Do you ever use the K slur like in public? Do you
Wait,
like
ever
take
use
that
the
back?
K slur?
No, not you. Soy Pill. I'm just
Do
curious.
I in public? No, I call my Jewish friends the K slur when they're annoying me though.
In private, like when you're in your call, you're like, "What up, my K?"
I think if I saw him across the street, I might shout it, but like you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
It rhymes with bike, to be clear, but don't say it.
Thanks for calling.
No, that's the other slur that rhymes with bike. Thank you. Oh wait, hold on. I want to leave her with this. I understand you believe it's morally reprehensible to be gay or trans. I ask you, befriend some gay people, maybe even smooch them because you're interested in this, and see how that makes you feel, and think about how it might make you feel if someone told you that the thing that makes you feel good, that doesn't really hurt anyone else, is so bad that you shouldn't be allowed to do it outside, and then you see all your straight friends kissing outside and you're like, damn, I wish I could do that. And just think about how that would make you feel, and maybe that you shouldn't do it to other people. But I know I'm not going to change your mind right here, but just consider smooching. Thank you so much.
Okay,
you'll have gay.
Real quick, Whick, I'm going to read my super chats.
I have to make money. Chats real quick.
Death Awaits, who I believe is trans. Thank you, Death Awaits. Can confirm, don't care about my sex or chromosomes. True. Dylan's chilling, $2 Canadian, which is fake money. Thinks that she's also day drinking, so I don't think she was drunk. I think she was just Australian. And I'm sorry I didn't ask this question, but I don't think it would have mattered because obviously she doesn't care. Where did it go? Here it is. Pants says $10. Thank you. Ask her about a specific trans person, Nicole Maines, who is fully transitioned, and you wouldn't even know they're a woman. She's happy and healthy. What's wrong with that? This person is like been ingrained by the Bible or by conservatism. It's just inherently wrong because it's not natural. You can show them and you kind of like lead them into it. Like, hey, look, here's a trans person. They're happy. They're not hurting anyone. They're just living their life. What's wrong with this? Like, eventually they'll kind of warm up to it when you. It's just like any racist person. They live around a bunch of black people that are like, hey, here's a cup of sugar, and you're like, whoa, you're not killing me. What's going on? I guess maybe you're not all bad. Exposure will help. And also Dylan and Chillin says trans exclusive homophobic closeted lesbian confirmed. Yeah, it would seem so. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Welcome. Hello, Lav. What's up?
Lav.
Well, she's muted herself. So
wait, is this the Lav?
Oh my god, hi. Sorry, I didn't realize I was going to get pulled in so quick. Hold on, let me fix my hair. First of all, while I'm fixing my hair, I'd just like to say that if you're a white person who lives around black people, you get more racist.
This isn't true.
It's completely true.
I live around a lot of black people, and I'm not more racist.
Yeah, that's because you never leave your fucking house because you're online.
I literally left my house this morning. I encountered several black people. I made friends with a black veteran yesterday, actually. He was a cool dude. He was taking care of a dementia-ridden black lady who was, dementia-ridden, and he's like a 78.
Yeah, dementia-ridden. Why did he want to be close to her? So he could rob her?
Got him, dude. Yeah, no, he's just a really sweet old man, and he was like 78. He had some kids that like played in the NBA and the NFL, and he was just showing me all his kids, and I was like, that's cool. Yeah.
She's not listening to words you say right now. She took her headphones off.
Well, yeah, it would go in one ear and out the other anyway. So.
Sorry. I really
thank you,
about
Nat Fen, for the $2. They are after the gays and communists, pal, anti. Well, I actually don't know what the fuck you're saying, so I can't say.
Had very limited interactions with you. Soy Pill.
Yeah, I didn't like what I heard so far, and also in those interactions. But I'm sure you'll change my mind here because that 4chan Groiper guy was able to pretend like he was being good faith.
I don't remember any.
You were saying something like super retarded. There was a clip of it.
I don't remember anything that we've ever talked about.
I don't think you remember much of anything, to be clear.
I remember a couple things.
Okay.
Walk the opposite way when there's a black man coming towards you, and clutch your purse. That's what I remember.
Wow, so edgy and cool. This is really funny, Wick. This is like, Myron Gaines, like his entire shtick is like, I'm saying something I'm not supposed to, but then like there's no joke. It's just like, I'm being bad.
I'm not even that racist. I just know.
I'm not okay.
You react like this.
To be clear,
you react like this, and you sort of get like, you get soy.
Out.
You get
oh my
soy.
God, I'm spurging. I'm so upset at you.
And that's funny.
I'm so indignant. You're so racist.
I'm actually a big lover of black people.
Oh yeah.
I love black people.
You love black people? Me too.
I
Whick,
sure
do you love
do.
black people?
But that's it. But that's not even what I
Some
wanted
of
to
the
talk
I
about.
black people,
love
yes.
black
Some of the
people.
black people,
No,
no.
no, not some. I love black people, Whick.
I don't see color. I don't know. You could be black for all I know. I would never be able to tell.
Yeah. Anyway, but what I was gonna say is it reminds me of like when kids would say like shiitake mushrooms because they're like, I'm not saying it, you know.
Yeah, of
And it's like,
course.
great, cool.
No,
like,
it's the
look, if
it's
you're
the
gonna tell a
most
racist joke
lowbrow
about
thing to
black
do.
people, please make a funny joke. But like, if you're just like blacks are bad, like spare me. Come on, it's so boring.
Well, it's sort of like brain rot, like poison,
Yeah, but
and I
it's
know that you're
lame.
just gonna spurg out
I'm
because
not.
Is
you're
this-
Does
putting
is
this
this
enough
what
does
you-
this
hold
seem?
on,
Is this
hold on.
spurging? Like I'm
No,
just
this
like.
is not what
you
I
wanted
came in
to
here to
talk to
say.
Soy Pill
No,
about?
I literally no. It was like
Okay.
I came and I said like one tiny thing that I thought was gonna be like, haha, that's retarded, and then we were gonna move
It was
on, but
retarded.
now
You
we're
got
stuck
me.
on it. Yes, but then we got stuck on it. Which I
Took
guess
the
I
bait.
could have seen
Haha,
coming.
I
guess
was
I could
just
have seen coming.
pretending to be retarded.
Okay, what you got? What you got for Mr. Soy Pill? Give
Well,
us
I was
the
gonna ask what your relationship is with your masculinity. I'm curious.
Me and
Like,
my
are you
masculinity
embarrassed? Do you feel bad about being a man?
No, I like being a man. What do you mean?
And what do you think? And what do you think being a man means or ought to be?
Ought to be? I don't know. I
Mhm.
think like this is kind of universal language. I had a whole debate on this, but it's like I think everyone should, to their ability, do what they can to help others and themselves. And I think that men, especially on average, biological men are going to be way stronger. That might be more of a protector role or like more of a masculine role traditionally. But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with the way that I feel as a man. I'm happy being a man, and I'm happy telling people to do good things onto others to the best of their abilities, which, depending on what that is, could be more of a responsibility for men than women, or vice versa. Yeah.
But you don't think that women have the same responsibility to be good to others?
I think everyone has the responsibility. Good. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying depending on your ability, you might have more of a responsibility.
So you think that masculinity is just about? You think that the only thing that separates womanhood and manhood, or ought to separate it, is contingent on the material reality that you are the bigger, stronger one?
That's part of it. Like what? Let me ask you what you would differentiate masculinity and femininity, and I'll tell you where it can be universal and where this would be like, okay, this is clearly exclusively to one of these genders.
Well, I think that I sort of, to some degree, believe in biological determinism. Obviously, the big strong part plays a role, but I also think that men are supposed to be more stoic, ordered, angrier, more passionate, more romantic.
Angrier?
Yeah.
Why should men be angrier than women? First of all,
Well, I think you are angrier than women.
okay, why are men angrier than women?
Well, testosterone makes you angry.
Oh, okay. If you're saying on average, the chemical makeup of biological men is going to make them more prone to anger, yeah, that's kind of true, but I don't think this changes masculinity. Like I said, look, if you have a more
Why wouldn't it?
Because this is my prescription is, yes, this could be on average applying more to men. Like when I say you should be a protector, period, right? Men or women. If you were saying to the ability that they have, on average, men are going to have more of a responsibility to do that. So if you want to call that masculinity, sure, and we have traditionally. In the same way, if you are more prone to violence or anger because you have more testosterone, which is typically true of men, then yeah, you have more responsibility to be stoic, to control your emotions better. Like these are things that are the reason why we have these like traditional gender roles. I think that the language of be a good person and apply that to the best of your ability is going to be universal and can be universal, and we don't have to gender it, but if you want to, you can.
But I guess also my question is do you believe that men should stifle their anger and hunger?
Their hunger?
Yeah, their hunger. Their
Hunger.
passion. Their anger.
Okay. Like their metaphysical hunger.
Potato chips.
Their hunger
on
for
my
violence. I think in general, yes, depending on what the social situation is, but I don't think you should bottle things up. I think a lot of men will not release emotion, either because they're told that women won't respect them if they like express that in any way, or because other guys will call them gay. And I think that you should be able to express those ways that are healthy, and more people should be accepting of that. But if you do bottle it up, and you don't express your rage sometimes, or go yell out in the street or whatever, you're going to probably release it in unhealthy ways. Yeah.
And what are those unhealthy ways? Like beating people up?
Yeah, you might hit people. You might, slam all the items off of a desk because someone told you they had an abortion and you didn't get an input in it. Like, yeah, there's tons of potentially bad ways you
That's
could
highly
express.
specific.
We watched a
Well,
clip earlier.
we had a clip earlier of an episode of The Girls, where Kylo Ren was talking to his
Oh,
girlfriend. You
I
remember
love
that?
that show.
Yeah. But anyway, she told him that I had an abortion, right? Or he found out that she had abortion. It was his. She didn't tell him. He got angry. He threw
Oh,
stuff off the
wait,
desk.
and wait,
Right.
let me take this opportunity to remind everyone that Lena Dunham put pebbles into her sister's vagina, and that's not okay, and I don't endorse.
Well, she was also a child.
That doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't make it okay, but it doesn't make it sexual in nature.
I didn't say it was sexual nature. I just said she did this, and you shouldn't do this.
That's
And I condemn it. Men or women should not
Awesome.
put pebbles into their sister's vagina.
What if
Okay.
you're both adults and you consent?
Then it's fine. But honestly, wash them, please, first.
Ooh, pro incest if consent.
Pro incest if consent. Oh, like if it's your sibling. Well, hey, if it's your sister and you're both girls, there's not really a harm of like making a retarded baby, so it's probably less bad than if it was like a.
So incest.
Man
There's
or
very
woman.
little.
Lesbian.
There's
incest.
very little harm to. I mean, the stats show that like if it's first time incest,
First time
it's
incest.
it's not that risky. It's incest gets worse dependent on how many generations of incest there are. But if it's like
Interesting.
first time,
I think in general you
you
shouldn't.
can have a very normal baby.
The family dynamics and the power dynamics are never going to be so clear that it's, oh, well, if they're just two, hypothetical consenting adults who happen to be related, obviously in some weird hypothetical where it's like, hey, they're just a brother and a sister and they can't have kids and no harm is being done. It's like, probably this is fine. But in general, the way this is enacted in real life is people taking advantage of each other and like most likely to be sexually abused by like a family member. Like this is just not something that should be promoted in society.
That's
Okay.
I'm
Is there anything else?
I'm
you
glad
got
we're all
for
in agreement.
Lab?
I did have the more on the masculinity thing. I guess I'm wondering what like an ideal model is for you. I'm trying to
For me?
because well yes, because I'm wondering what is next for like a man like you. Like I'm
What's
wondering how old are
next?
you?
Guess.
30.
Yeah, it's close. I'm 29.
Yeah. I'm just wondering like what is the plan? Like
What's
if
the
a man is
plan?
like a liberal into his 30s,
Mm-hmm.
isn't in a rush to have a family or a wife, like what is next?
Wait, who said I wasn't in a rush to have a family and a wife?
So is that your I'm unfamiliar
Yeah, I'd
with
love
your
to have a wife and kids and have them run around on the playground and push them on the swing and get in fights where I get to fight the dad and then my daughter gets to fight the daughter and we have like the bam. That'd be awesome. Yeah, no, I want that. I just haven't locked down a girl yet.
Oh, okay. Do you believe in like the nuclear family?
Believe in it? What do you mean, like, do I want that or do I think it is the norm and should be the norm? Are you nodding? Oh, that was an or question.
Is both. I want to know both.
I mean, I believe it exists, yeah, and I think it's good to have two stable parents. I don't think it's necessary, but that's what I want.
You don't think it's necessary?
I mean, I know it's not necessary, but yeah,
Well, of course it's not necessary because people
because tons of people have it. I mean, like you,
sure.
I'm guessing you didn't have a nuclear family growing up?
I did.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, I just got daddy issue vibes, but fair enough.
Oh no, I'm very close with my mother. I'm very close with my father. You got the wrong read. I have mommy issues. That's way worse
Wait,
on a
okay,
woman.
but so you didn't have a stable two-parent household?
It was stable and two-parent. My mom's just a psycho.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling in, Lav.
What's next for me
got a bit
is
of a
I'm gonna get
line.
married. Wait, Lav, how many Jews died in the Holocaust?
How many?
Yeah.
Not enough. See you guys later.
Got 'em, huh?
Okay, bye. That was Lav, gang, and I lost track of the order you guys came in. So,
Vadim wants to be bumped up. Can we get Vadim in here?
the Vadim, which one's him?
Vadim, hey, it's Vadim. It's Vadim.
Let me look. What do we?
He's not at backstage because you're at max. Oh,
At
yes,
max
join the
backstage?
Discord. Yes, join the Discord. Yeah, don't let anyone up. I'm saying Vadim is next.
Okay, yeah, go into the vetting room or something, and I'll pick you
Vetting.
up.
He says, "Go in the vetting room. Go in the vetting
Or cell
room."
phone callers, any of the ones around the top.
Can you believe how
you
much I
should be able to
spurged out
see
at her
the
just
tables.
evil people black rhetoric? That was awful. I'm so upset at just how racist she is, and I'm triggered.
I haven't seen Lav in a minute. Yeah, I hope she's doing okay. She Must be really struggling if she's coming to a Wick show. Okay. Just
Does
mentally.
she have a job?
I have no idea. Okay, I don't. Yeah, I don't see him yet.
He
We'll
says,
wait
"How do I
for-
get in the vetting room? How do I get him in, Wick? This is just
Okay,
like people
click
want
the
to
link.
join."
Accept the rules.
What link?
Which, click. Okay. The link to the
So
Discord.
you send me the link right now. I send it to Vadim. Vadim gets pulled up, and we all have a great time.
I sent you the server link.
Okay.
He has to click the link.
Okay.
Accept the rules by clicking my face emoji, right, which is on the rules page.
Click
Then
the
he'll be
link.
able to see all the channels.
Accept the rules by clicking Wick's face emoji. Then what?
Then jump backstage.
Then
Or-
jump backstage.
Yeah, and then we'll be
Did
able
you do all three? Bam. There's no way you can't figure this out. Progressives are so smart. I'm a progressive.
It's like an
I'm-
IQ test to get on my show. Okay, gang.
To be fair, I struggle with this all the time, and people try to join my server, and I'd have to give them permissions and shit. It's stupid.
I mean, look, I can see if I can give him a manual. If he's really struggling. What? It's Vadim.
That's Vadim.
I don't see him.
I see Vadim. Is he not? He says he can't join backstage. It won't let him join voice. Is it at capacity?
Join cell phone callers or vetting room if it's at capacity.
Join
Which
cell
it
phone.
shouldn't
Okay,
be.
I will tell him to join the voice channel, cell phone callers, or vetting room if you can. If you can't, accept the rules by clicking on Wick's face. Where's your face?
Okay, I see him in the
There.
server thing. Here, let me just manually give him a role.
Okay, just
and this will
yes, you
bypass
solve
this. Hold
everything.
on. Just it'll take a moment for me. Give me a moment.
Oh, I see first name, last name. I see you. I see you in the backstage there.
Okay, you see him now?
No. This is not Vadim. I just saw someone from my chat there.
So I'm having to manually give him a role because he couldn't accept. I don't know why
That's
he didn't.
fine. Just do what you
role,
gotta
but
do.
he has a role now.
Vadim needs
He
the
should be
role.
able to see all the channels now. If he refreshes, there he is. Oh,
Get him
wonderful.
up here. Get that guy up here. We want him up
We
here.
got him. It took
Hey,
a minute, but he's
it's
here.
Vadim.
Hey,
What's up?
How's it going, buddy?
Me. It does happen to be me. I'm all right. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, but you know, I mean, I'm just happy to see you in general, but also because of the contrast of our last guest.
Yeah, was that Lav?
That's the Lav. Yes.
The Lav, right? Yes, I've heard quite a bit about her, and very little that's anywhere approaching good.
Wait,
So,
Vadim,
what? Yeah,
how many Jews died in the Holocaust?
6 million, I believe, is
Correct.
You passed the test.
You get
passed
it.
the
You
test.
passed the test. Okay. Continue.
Okay. Yeah, I would hope I would.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I would hope they did.
Yeah. So I didn't know that about her. I know that she's kind of like a hardcore turf these days, but she's a Holocaust denialist as well.
Oh no,
now?
no. Well, no. The first person we had in was, and so now we just have to ask everyone. But she might be. I don't know. I mean, she clearly is a little racist, or so bad at racist humor that she just is perceived as racist. So
Yeah, well, turfs can go in that direction. I think once you start in that general vicinity, you're
J.K.
not
Rowling's
too
aligning
far-
with some Nazis, right, in the UK sometimes, just because they're
Oh,
also
absolutely.
aligned on trans positions.
Yeah. It's I could talk a while about like all the reasons why I think that those things are actually like, kind of it's pretty common for those things to line up, but
Hey,
we're not
just
here
real
to
quick.
talk
Just
about
real quick before we go on. Do you have a camera, man? Like, it's okay if you don't. It's just better for the.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what. Give me. I will continue talking. I just need to kind of set
no
up.
problem.
He's got
some
like
lights
16
and stuff.
cats lying on every facet of his table and computer, and he's just got to like pick them up and move them so he can find all the buttons.
Just better for the show. You know what I mean?
There's that.
Oh, and real quick, guys, Vadim, used to be Creationist Cat. I see a bunch of you asking yes, and now he's Hey It's Vadim, and you should all go subscribe because I've seen a preview of his new video. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of things, and I should be back after an extremely long hiatus fairly soon. But yeah, if you just maybe we can just engage in a little small talk until I get these like my lights and stuff going. And
Yeah.
frankly, I'm gonna change my shirt too because I'm just looking a little gnarly.
What's
all
your
been
new what's your new video about? I haven't heard of it.
Well, I have one video that I wouldn't like usually gonna advertise this, but since it's a relatively small audience, Asmongold not too long ago threatened to sue me.
Neat. What for?
For making the basically.
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Tell the story.
Sure. I basically said that, and it's sort of like maybe I need to give context here, but basically, within the we were having like a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter, and I said something to the effect of his mother being a Nazi sympathizer, and that's the reason why I said that is because he said something to me about like how leftists like myself couldn't take accountability and yada yada yada. And the reason why I said that to begin with was because he was blaming, I think it was Frogan, but maybe it was Casey Tron, for kind of talking shit about his mom, supposedly.
Okay.
And so I basically said, like, look, if we're talking about responsibility here, nobody is more responsible for making your mother look bad, basically. I mean, I'm like paraphrasing here, like I was much more succinct with what I said. But I basically said, like, nobody is more responsible for kind of insulting your mother than or making your mother look bad than you did when you told the world that she was a big fan of Nick Fuentes, which he absolutely did, And
Okay.
so,
And
so
he's suing you for
my
that?
purpose was not to like degrade his his mother is deceased, of course, and I feel terrible about that. But it's just sort of like, dude, if you're gonna drag others for supposedly not like taking accountability for things, then take fucking accountability for what you did when you said that. You know what I'm saying? But what were you gonna say?
I don't know if he can sue you for that. That seems like First Amendment protected speech stuff, but I don't know the story. So
it absolutely is, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to make a video about it, because I think it just kind of demonstrates how moronic he can be, and really how at the heart of a lot of just the shit that he talks, that it's like just transparently he's more concerned with just bossing people around and like just kind of a lot of there's a lot of hypocrisy there when it comes to all sorts of things. But yeah,
enough
anyway,
about Asmongold. Be mean to me.
Yeah, now that Soy Pill's back, right?
Cool. So, I think what we're going to talk about here is generally, I mean, I guess it is more specific to Hassan, but I guess we're talking about in general kind of the tactics that, like whether or not, I mean, how would you describe it?
Yeah, do you want here? I'll give you the whole spiel because me and Vadim have been going back and forth on DMs about this. Basically,
and real quick, I'm gonna try and turn on my.
Sounds good.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll explain. So, actually, someone already asked me about this. My issue is, I think that when you're one of the biggest streamers, or really just any size at all, and you are not fully aligned with Democrats, or even significantly disaligned, however, fully acknowledge how bad a Trump win would be, even though you're allowed to hold their feet to the fire and criticize them and like be like, hey, this policy's dog shit, like any and all of that, I think is fine. If you're not going to do everything in your power to get them elected, and in my opinion, what is that power is canvassing, endorsing, and saying, look, I don't pledge my fealty to the Dems, but we need to stop Trump. We need to vote for them now. I think that that is hypocritical and a misuse of your platform. And let me steelman your side of this, Vadim, and tell me if this is a
Well,
valid.
I actually have like a list of things that I kind of wanted to say, but like at the outset. I mean, you can go ahead.
Can I just steelman your position real quick and tell me if this is like invalid? Yeah. I believe that Hassan's position, and to agree, you agree with this, is that if whether or not Hassan does any of the things that I'm advocating that he does is irrelevant, the Democrats were going to lose because of their mismanagement, because of the policies, specifically the policies that he criticized them on. So whether or not he does that is irrelevant. His criticism is actually him trying to help them win because he believes that if they did go with his position on it, they would have had a better chance.
Yeah, I think to a large extent that is part of it. That like I think that he took a principled stand in terms of and this kind of starts getting into the things that I needed to mention about like what, because first I want to be on the same page about what he actually did in the lead up to the election, right? Okay.
Yes.
But
you probably know more than me, so if there's something I'm missing, tell me.
Yeah. I mean, I like, I like maybe reiterate again for me what you said, because there were definitely I definitely agree with you, of course, that he held out for concessions, not only because he felt like it was a principled stand to take, but because he felt like that doing that was necessary. Like he felt that, and a lot of leftists felt that that issue had to be addressed in order for her
that
to
issue
win
being
the
Gaza
election.
specifically, right?
Yeah. So it became not only a principled stand, but also a way to create harm reduction. A lot of people are like, he should have gone the harm reduction route and told people actively to vote for her. But I would argue that what he did was an attempt at harm reduction for the reason that I just stated.
Right. And I acknowledge this. Like, it's not that I disagree with the idea of, hey, because again, in this framework, correct me if this is not how this is being seen, but they're like, if I do this, they will realize that this is a huge liability for them. And there's a chance that my concession holding out of my endorsement will cause them to move left on this issue and before the election do something good for Gaza, right?
Sure.
Right. I understand this. I don't think this is a incorrect, illogical position. My only thing is, I think that you can do this and still be using your resources to help this person win. And I think if you if you're just critical and you kind of promote kind of voter apathy even by saying both parties are not going to change on this. Like, for example, I think he's right. I think people take this clip out of context. They say, he says both parties are the same, but he's talking about the Gaza stuff. And it's like, it seems like materially to the people of Gaza, like the parties probably weren't going to be that different. Like they're still going to get blown up and that's awful. This is true. But if you acknowledge that he would have been, Kamala would have been better on ICE, would have been better on trans issues, would have been better on the economy, all these other things, huge, non-marginal, significant differences. You can say, look, I'm going to try to hold out for concession on this, but I'm still going to try to do everything I can in my power to stop Trump. That is my position. We disagree on whether or not this is an effective way to win the election. Yeah?
Okay. So now I think I have to go ahead and explain the things that I wanted to explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it sort of starts to address some things, and we may have a little bit of as I go along, we may have some disagreements. Now, you can stop me as we go along if you think that going point by point is necessary thing.
Sure. I'll try not to interrupt.
I'd like to be able to get all this out and then go back through it, but
Yeah,
know,
I'll try to
just
take notes so I don't interrupt. Go ahead.
I'm flexible. I'm flexible with this, okay? And you know, sometimes I kind of get like off track due to like ADHD and the fact that I am very often very tired. I
Yeah,
know
all
people
good.
are probably in the chats like making fun of me for that, but
Someone said sleepy Vadim, and I was like, it is sleepy
yeah,
Vadim. He's a little sleepy.
I,
Also, your haircut, I know you probably didn't try, but
yeah,
if you
it's a
shaved,
little
it's
lockjaw.
a
It's a
no. I was
little
gonna say it's a
lockjaw.
little Hitlery if you shave the mustache a little. So just you're lucky.
Uh,
I know your position on Jews
If
already.
you had a mask on, I think you'd wear ice
I
trying
mean,
to like come
in the
in.
back, it's not. It's kind of like
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know what I'm doing. I cut this myself recently,
okay.
and I'm kind of like in an I don't give a fuck phase.
Oh yeah, we're not
So
here
Okay,
to
make your points. Make your points.
judge
We're
his
good.
hairket. Let's hear his
yeah,
points.
All right,
no,
I will. I'm
Give
gonna
his
take
fine.
notes. I'll do my
actually
best. Go ahead.
discussed that for about. I think it's very relevant to Hassan's voting positions.
Okay.
But no, seriously. So I also want to like before I get into the one thing I have like one thing to preface it, which is because I know that tons of fucking people who are watching this are a lot of people who would kind of like I all the time I get this like. Why are you such like a dick writer for Hassan? And I don't really like I like the guy, but I don't really like I wouldn't normally stand him more than a lot of people. But one reason why sometimes I find myself doing it is because one, just naturally, I think a lot of people who are either libs or like maybe not quite leftists, they often assign everything that they believe Hassan is doing to like all leftists. Like that happens all the fucking time. So that's one reason why I
First, they
feel
came
like
for the tankies, and you said, "Not today. We're all
Okay,
Hassan
let's.
Piker
I think
today."
we got the. I think we got the preface. Let's get to the
Yeah.
meat.
If anything, I'm just
yeah, yeah,
jealous you're
yeah,
not dick writing me all the time, Vadim.
yeah. So there's that, and then there's also just in general, there's a huge anti-Hassan industry, and I like to point out like bullshit when I can. But here we go. These I wanted to make like a list of things that I think that he actually did in Kamala's favor over the course of the election.
Okay, and this might change my
Or
mind to be clear. So go ahead.
election.
Yeah.
So one is he made it extremely clear that Trump and the Republicans were an existential threat to democracy. That more than anything was the thrust of his coverage. A lot of people just think that like all he did was talk about Kamala and just tear down the Dems 24/7.
Okay, you
And
can
even
move on.
though
I
that's
agree
not
with this. He sent me videos.
okay,
I've seen this. I agree.
okay, good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So next, he interviewed a few down ballot candidates. I mean, I know that that Rashida Tlaib was among them. I think that there were some others, but I think that is relevant. That those are things that he did for Dems in general, and to signal that voting for Dems is a good thing. He interviewed and hung out with other respected lefty pundits and journalists to discuss the issues and inform his viewers. I suppose maybe you could like take issue with how effective that is, but I think that should be like thrown into the whole of what he did that was positive. Next, he made it incredibly clear that he thought all third party options were a joke. He did that numerous times. Anyone who watched him regularly should know that he thought that the Green Party was bullshit and that you were essentially throwing your vote away, especially if you were in a swing state and decided to vote for them. So that's another thing. He told people to vote. He made that clear many times. Also, this is the only thing that I'm going to point out that he did that he did not do, which is he never told people not to vote for Kamala Harris. That's another thing. People accuse him all the time of doing that, and he never did that. And I could include other things like the fact that he was at the DNC, he got kicked out, and but still, like he was giving his time there, and he was doing it like with the like he was there because at that point he was on her side. But we can get into all of those things like
Sure.
whether I guess you agree with me on the majority of those things.
Yeah, I believe all of these things are true. I don't think you're misrepresenting any of these. I'll even add something I like that he did, which was he had a charity stream for like abortion options for people in red states who are like getting limited access. And it's like clearly acknowledging like this is a threat to their health care, and like let's use my resources to spend money to help these people. This is like material good for the issues he cares about, which is like, yeah, that's great. But can I get into, I think you said 7 things here, like basically everything to me hinges on the first one. If we can start there, or do you have more to say before I do that?
Well, I mean, I guess one thing that I have to say is that if we are talking about this, this person who supposedly exists out there, who hinges on Hassan's every word so much that they're like a combination of like so brain damaged that they, that they have to expressly do what one person says. Not that, like, obviously I think that he
Do you think
has
do you think such a person exists? At least one?
maybe probably,
Like
but
almost definitely, right? Like
but
everyone has sycophants. I have
yes,
brown nosers. I'm your brown noser. So like I don't do literally everything you say, but like damn near if you told me to endorse someone, I'd probably do it. So like there's some
yeah,
portion where this will happen. For sure.
yes. And what I'm saying is that given that he made it incredibly clear that third party options were a joke, that the Republicans and especially Trump were a fucking like just
Existential
enormous
threat, right?
threat in every way possible, and that you should vote, what would the person out there who is going to like do a what would Hassan do at the ballot box, what is that person going to do other than vote for her? And the last thing that I'll say in all of that is that like let's also remember that he did let people know why he was not explicitly endorsing her. Like he did all those things except for explicitly endorse her, and he told people why he was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I just think that in the event that we're talking about these people who had to do what he supposedly wanted them to do, they would be voting for Kamala at the ballot box anyway, because
Okay.
they would be able to like
Right.
piece all that
So
together.
this is the fundamental point I disagree with, right? So yes, I agree that he did all these things. One, if he's going to say that Trump is an existential threat, that third parties are a joke, and telling people to vote, logically, anyone who's going to vote and is in his audience would vote for Kamala. I don't disagree with this. However, what he is doing by criticizing the Dems to the extent he does without saying, but also you all need to go vote for them to stop Trump, which he acknowledges is an existential threat, and not using his resources to get as many people to the ballot box, to like, bust people in, to canvass, to advocate for this, is that he is promoting voter apathy, saying voting doesn't matter. And I can prove this to you if you go to any of the videos that you link to show that, oh, he voted for Kamala, or hey, like he's advocating for voting in general. Like you go to the bottom and every single person saying voting doesn't matter. If voting made a difference, they wouldn't let us do it. You're not voting hard enough. Like these people don't think voting matters. They don't think that
But
voting
when
could
they
have
say
stopped Trump.
they're not voting hard enough, that's because there is a level of frustration with the fact that
That's
we don't
fine.
have enough avenues to get them to make a
Right.
principled decision.
I agree,
And
but I'm just saying that frustration and the way that he expresses it and the way that he, again, so there's 2 things here. One is you're saying that logically his supporters deduce that if they vote, they should vote for Kamala, which I think is true to an extent, but withholding your concession is at least going to cause, or not concession, withholding your endorsement is at least going to cause a significant portion of your audience to just not vote for her. This is just demonstrably true. I don't know what portion that is. I don't have data on this, but you must acknowledge that like this would happen. More people would vote if he said, hey, I don't like this person. I'm not enthusiastic about it. I want them to concede on Gaza, but I absolutely think you should go and vote to stop Trump. Yes?
I think those people are already going to, those people are not going to respond. Like these people are, I think, informed enough and smart enough to make their own decisions when it comes to when it comes to like this. Like
if that's true, Vadim, then why would withholding his endorsement help push the Dems in the right spot? if he doesn't have the power to sway these people because they otherwise are informed enough either way, and he doesn't have the influence to tell them to vote for Kamala, then why does he think by not telling people to go for Kamala, by not spending money to go and canvass, by not door knocking or whatever, doing everything he can, that this would somehow change?
Because, well, for one, obviously he doesn't look at like he looks at it as though he is I mean, and it's not just how he looks at it. What he's doing is that he is joining a large group of people who are holding out for the same reason. And
Yeah, like the uncommitted movement, right?
You would have a whole bunch of people who are kind of giving her a much more vigorous what's the word?
Holding your feet to the fire or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, endorsement. They would be like, so it's not just him, and and let's also go into like why.
Okay. But before you do that, I do have a quick question. Do you think that it would have helped Kamala? Do you think more people would have voted for Kamala from Hassan's audience if Hassan told them to vote for Kamala? Do you think that would have happened?
I mean, if he had come out and
said, "Hey, you should vote for Kamala."
I think that if he had like enthusiastically said like, or
not even what I said, which is, I'm not enthusiastic about this. I have all the same criticisms. These people are promoting genocide. However, we need to stop Trump. You should vote for her. Do you think that would have caused at least a non-zero, somewhat significant number of people to vote for her?
I think that you'd have to be so fucking stupid that you couldn't tie your shoes to put two and two together, to not be able to put two and two together, that his stance was you should go out and do this. He said, like, I am not endorsing her explicitly for this reason, because this is not only something that I feel strongly about, but I think that if this issue is ignored, it's going to lead to an election loss. So,
there's two things happening. I need to jump in here. Can I jump in here?
Yeah. He was also talking about the danger of what was likely to occur and telling people to go out and vote. So it's just sort of like,
so if he first of all, I disagree with this idea that like you'd have to specifically be stupid to not make this connection. One, because I think if you look at any of the comments on this video, the way that people express it is, I don't think voting matters. I think both parties are the same. I don't want to vote for this person. And literally he talks about this in one of these videos of like, you should just vote, where, I think it's like a trans person, or like there's other people. It's like, don't you care about these things? And he's like, I acknowledge the harm reduction argument, but, and then goes on to explain why ultimately this is going to lead to bad things regardless. So one, I think that you can be a smart person and still, because of the lack of his endorsement, decide maybe this won't matter or be apathetic about it. But two, even if I grant you, only the dumbest people, and there's not a significant amount of dumb people doing it, so it wouldn't have mattered, only the dumbest people wouldn't have made that connection, he's still not doing what I think he should do, what I'm going to do, what Whick and I talked about earlier, and I'll invite you to too, which is spend my money and time and influence to get the people that already are going to make the correct decision to go out and talk to other people and say, you should make this correct decision too, because we have so much reach, because we have that responsibility as big platform people to say, I'm going to fucking do whatever I can to stop Trump. And he did not do that. This materially, he didn't.
Okay, well, listen, there are different tactics that people can take in order to make some sort of worthwhile difference. I'm going to say this. One, I am not the kind of person, like, if there was not such a robust discussion constantly on like Twitter and other places, kind of talking about these things, like assigning blame to leftists, not just Hassan, but like everybody for shit related to this, I wouldn't bother saying what I'm going to say here, which is like the fact that like
a quick question on that before you go though.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair to assign blame to a leftist who did not vote?
To who did not vote?
Yes, who said, I'm sitting this one out.
I think it depends on why they did and they didn't.
Yeah.
If,
Wick,
if,
I won't even blame leftists. Like, it's
Yeah.
their fault because it's like it's the Democrats' job to try to earn these votes in general. My
No, I'm
issue
just
is not, oh, you
It's-
lost the election. My issue is I think you this was a dereliction of your responsibility.
Yeah,
It-
I think to be clear, my stance, and I know it's your guys' conversation, but just to
go
be
for it.
real quick here, I think that people had a moral obligation to stop Trump from winning the election, and the best way to do that was by voting for Kamala. So those of you who did not vote for Kamala Harris, you failed your moral obligation.
Wick, it's
That's
been
my
3 years. You can't say Kamala, right? Come on, man.
I know I suck at pronunciation. Okay, that's my flaw.
Just say
Okay, you can,
Kamala. Go full right wing and just do the
Kamala.
racist version.
Kamala. Okay, no. Anyway, go ahead, please. But
Okay.
I just wanted to make clear that I think that we can assign blame to the leftists who didn't vote, because I think they had a moral obligation and they failed in their moral obligation. That's it.
Well, I mean, then we start getting into a few different things, which is like, when it comes to, I feel like this election, due to the Israel-Palestine situation, the genocide that is still taking place, I feel like it was a very it was just I've never seen an election quite like this. And what I mean by that is that it was the first election where I think, on the grounds of just not being able to stomach what the Democrats were attaching themselves to, whereas I wanted people to vote for Kamala, and and whatnot. I just could not bring myself to condemn anybody who, on those grounds, could not do it. And I've seen a lot of people who you're friends with, maybe even you would agree with this, but I think I saw a Live and Learn podcast where a few of you guys were basically saying that you thought that those who didn't vote on those grounds were like basically as like equivalent to MAGA. And
Oh,
I just
I wouldn't say this. I doubt Hutch and IRI or Pisco would endorse that they're equivalent, but like, don't get me wrong. It's I completely empathize with, like, I have people who have family in Gaza that got killed during this election cycle, and they're like, I don't want to fucking vote for her. I get that. I'm just asking. I think it's our job to ask those people and do everything we can to be like, hey, I'm not saying you're going to go, wow, I sure do love Kamala Harris and everything she does. I'm saying what you got to understand is not only is it going to be just as bad under Trump, it's going to be worse for even more people. And can you pretty please suck it up and hold our nose and do everything we can to change for this after the election? Because right now it doesn't seem that conceding on this is going to do anything, or trying to hold out for a concession is going to do anything.
Think that none of those people had like considered those things? I mean, like, it just
It's
like
a discussion to be had. Whether or not they've made up their minds is potentially can be changed, and that's why you need to keep talking about it.
And I think that's why that conversation was to an extent entertained by just the various ways in which he was letting people know that things were certainly going to be worse under fucking Trump. Like, the reason why 95% of the time when he bothers to get riled up about the policies or rhetoric of moderate left wingers, or just like a good portion of our left wing politicians, it's because he is seeing ways in which they are capitulating to the right wing, ways in which they are doing things that are playing into their desires and are fucking up our long-term like winning outcomes. But I do want to say, like, this was something that I was about to say. I mean, do you want to react to that? Or there was something that I wanted to say before that I didn't get a chance
Go ahead
to.
and say the thing before. I don't think I have more
Because
comments on that.
I was talking about the blame thing, and I mentioned, like, again, this is not something that I would bother saying if I was not constantly inundated with people like blaming us for this election loss and
Sure.
or something akin to it. But if we have to assign blame, then I'm going to, assign more blame to those who certainly did not like challenge the like. There are a lot of people like Hutch, for instance. Hutch has, I think, still resists calling it a genocide. For those who just kind of certainly like just acted as though
Wait,
that
Vadim,
was,
I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
I have to interrupt because, like, tell me if I'm wrong. But what you're saying is assuming that Hassan is right in that if Democrats were to move left on this, they would have performed better. Therefore, Hutch or anyone else that allowed them to not change on it get more blame because this hurt them more, right? But this is assuming that this is correct.
I think those who helped manufacture consent for this situation are far more like should be assigned far more blame than those who objected to the like
To the genocide,
just
yeah. No, I got it. Well, here, let's say this, because like we'll talk in circles, and we've already had this exact argument. But my contention is just we disagree on what would be more effective, and that's fine because I don't not understand where you're coming from. And of course, on the list of blame, it goes MAGA voter base, Democrats failing to do good messaging, and then all the fucking quibbles between on the left of like, oh, what should we do and how effective it could be. Specifically in the same way that you're reacting to this because everyone's like, fuck you, leftists, Bernie bros, you sabotaged Hillary, you sabotaged Kamala. The reason that you react to those because it's like a reaction of all this fucking stupid bubble. I react in the way when I see leftists who didn't vote complain about the current admin. It's like, well, why didn't you do everything you could have? And so all I'm saying in this case is I think he should do more. I understand that he thinks that might not have helped, but I think he should have done more. I'm going to try to do more, and I'm going to push people like that to acknowledge and continue to critique the Dems for all the fuck-ups that they have and just do more as much as they can. So if you have a problem with me saying, hey, Hassan, let's go canvass this November in the midterms, I don't think you would, right?
No, well, I mean, in the midterms,
yeah, sure,
no,
and next election
wouldn't-
too. Let's say we got Gavin
I mean,
Newsom as the primary, and he's like, also, you know what? Fuck homeless people, and I'm gonna do another Gaza. I would still say let's fucking canvass for him.
I mean, I'd have to be it like just see like what situation
Everything
we were
else
in.
everything else is the same. Democrats or Republicans. It's Trump. It's Trump
very
third
well
term,
might
and he's like, I'm gonna
support-
invade Greenland and Panama and Venezuela, and I'm gonna cut healthcare for trans people. I'm gonna
Deport
make
all
ICE.
the
I'm gonna
immigrants, legal or
I'm gonna mass
illegal, start
deportations times 3,
denaturalizing
expand the
minorities,
budget
all that.
times 10 for ICE. I'd be like, you know what? Fuck, I hate this because the Gaza thing is completely unforgivable, but god damn it, I'm going to go out and make sure I get as many fucking votes as I can to stop Trump. I think that's not insane.
I absolutely think that that there is some sort of karmic, and I don't even like I don't believe in karma in terms of like some sort of hippy dippy like magical force, but I do
Right. I know what you mean.
believe
Like
that
the bad will, the
politically
stain
what
would come back to
comes
bite us, right?
around goes around. And I do believe that if we are a society who is not willing to draw the line at something like genocide, this shit is going to come for us whether we like it or not. So although I very well can see a situation where exactly what you're pointing out, like where I would kind of say like, yeah, let's go out and canvas. I could also see like depending on kind of how all of the pieces fell together, I could see a situation in which I just thought, like, look, there are some really big issues here. And if we don't fucking start taking a stand on these things and start demanding from our politicians that they actually do these things, then we're just going to continue falling further and further
Right.
into fetishism, whether we
This-
like it or
and-
not.
and this might be true.
And so we have to take that principled stand and try and get them to budge here.
This might be a long-term true thing that I disagree with, but like maybe it is true. All I know is I see what's happening now, and I see the people that took the stand, and maybe if enough people had taken the stand, if this was possible, this would have changed. I just don't think materially this is how it's going to pay out. I think it's a little idealistic, but I understand it.
Yeah. I think we're circling a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Okay.
That's why I kind of wanted to like to bring it full circle, because it's like fundamentally we just disagree on how it works.
Vadim here. We'll let Vadim. I'm sorry.
Vadim.
Horrible at pronunciations.
Can't do Vadim. Can't do Kamala.
I know. I can't do any of them. Last word from you, and then we'll move on. We got a line. Okay.
Yeah, sure. No, I thanks for bringing me in. I think this was a good talk. I guess I'll just say that, I think what was actually occurring in this situation is that we kind of just felt like there was an iceberg ahead, and we were trying to do our best to not hit that iceberg. And sometimes maybe like you've got a captain who's drunk off his ass, and you have to take some sort of like measure to get that motherfucker to sober up.
Yeah, and then all the other passengers said, "Why aren't you violining more? This would have helped."
Wait, what?
So like the implication,
ignore Soy. Okay, just give
the implication being that like you violating more wouldn't have done anything. Okay, sorry.
And so just the last thing that I'll say here is that I think he took a principled stand. He held out for concessions, and that is a time-honored tradition in politics. There have been other. Like I think definitely in 72, McGovern, a lot of people thought that he lost because the auto workers union did not endorse him because he was just kind of giving them the short end of the stick. So he did that. And I think that like, when else can you do something like holding out for concessions other than like if you can't do it in a time where you're doing it for a genocide, when can you do it? And truly lastly, some of you may be saying like, well, but this particular election was just like different. And
no. I wouldn't say that. Every election is the most important election we've ever had.
Exactly. So it just becomes sort of like, well, when the fuck can you take a stand on something like this in order to get people to do the thing that's going to get you to win? Because that's something else that we didn't talk about. Well, we didn't have a primary, dude.
True, fair enough.
I'm more than willing to have a whole discussion on this.
No,
right?
it's cool. Let's get your other people in.
Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate you. I love you, buddy.
Likewise.
And let's talk more.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Oh, we didn't get to see any of the cats.
Oh no. Okay. Well, you wanted him on.
Wait, hold on. I usually don't react to these comments, but this one triggered me. God, I can't watch Soy debate. He just cucks out immediately. Fuck you. I don't cuck out.
Okay. I have thoughts. I voiced a few of them during it. I found the answers unsatisfying. That's
yeah. Again, it's literally just a disagreement on what you think would have been more effective,
Sure.
Ultimately. But
Okay.
I think he should wait a minute. It's fucking non-fawn.
I know.
Oh no, are you gonna get mad at me because I don't have a Joe Biden fucking thing in my background?
Absolutely. No, I'm mad at you because you don't.
Exact opposite of the last caller we had. Go ahead.
Exact opposite. I don't think he has.
All right,
that
Soy
because he has
Pill.
0 cats.
And he's a Biden stan, okay, with the Biden in the background, right? So.
All right, what's your issue with me?
Do Black Lives Matter, Soy Pill?
I love black people. Every Black Life matters, yeah.
Then why do you support all these non-Biden, super progressive Democrats who want to do their stupid things like $25 an hour minimum wage?
Wait,
for
who said I
publicly
supported
traded
them?
companies? When, so what I was about to get to is I think so. with that specifically, the evidence of minimum wage, from what I've seen, says that it does actually affect employment for Black people and lower skilled people more generally, a lot more than higher skilled people.
Mhm.
And I think it's also had very disappointing effects on reducing poverty. I wish minimum wage was a good solution to poverty, but it
Doesn't seem
doesn't
to be,
appear to
yeah.
be. It appears to have very small effects in it. So I think if you were to do that policy, which in DMs you did say that one you agree is stupid, like
I even said it on
having every
stream. I was
publicly
like,
traded
I'm really
company-
glad I don't have to agree to all these policies, but you guys do.
Yeah, but like, it seems like, you know, I want to be clear. I look forward to voting for Queen AOC against Steve Bannon in the 2028 election. Okay, but like 80% of those policies or whatever the PV people had to agree to, I think were just bad. I think
80%?
you know,
Let's look at them right now.
Wait, hold
80%
on.
might
Did
be
you
an
have to?
overestimate.
Did
I don't know.
PV change your stuff? Do you now have to sign like this pledge of policy agreement?
No. This is like the politicians took this. All right. Ranked choice
Oh,
voting, I'm
okay.
fine with this. Congressional stock trading ban, fine with this. Overturn Citizens United, fine with this. Medicare for all, codify Roe v. Wade, fine with this. Stock market, publicly traded companies must have $25 minimum wage. This is the one I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with this at all. Defend Palestine and Ukraine and stop war profiteering. Okay, I'm okay with this. College for all, mostly okay with this. Green New Deal, mostly okay with this. Expanding nuclear power. I think I've maybe flipped on this. Turns out we're probably too late to expand nuclear power, and we should just all in on getting some renewables in the short term and then going for fusion. But this is either way. Abolish ICE, 100%. End qualified immunity, depending on how we do this. Pathway to citizenship, all the way. Transit, nationalize the railroads. I don't know what this would look like materially. You probably know more than that about me. Restrict demonetization of fair use content for reacts. This is like super big, like pandering to streamers. Force platforms to default opt-out users for fair training. I like that. Cap total interest paid at 100% of principal. I don't necessarily agree with this. So the big ones I think you would definitely have an issue with, and I probably don't agree with, are 3 and 10, right?
Can you make
I have
it
some
bigger
issues.
for us, by the way? Can you zoom in?
Yeah, those are the ones I have the bigger issues with. So I would have issues with 2 as well. Not
I see the
necessarily
zoom bar at the
codify.
bottom. You can.
Yeah, I don't have an issue
Zoom
with
in
codifying
more.
Roe
None
v.
of us
Wade.
can read this.
I would
Keep going.
assume when progressives.
I mean, if I zoom in more, it's going to be not on the screen.
Well, you can go up and down.
Oh my god.
Now we can see it. We
I
can see
read it
fine.
all out loud. Do you fucking listeners have ears? Okay.
Jesus
What's your
Christ,
issue, non-fun?
So for number 2, I would assume when progressives say Medicare for all, they mean a single payer system. Those are the bills that like Bernie has introduced. They're all single payer systems. I do have
Well, I
disagreements with
support a
that.
public option regardless, even if it's not the
Sure.
only option. Like Germany has a mixed system. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Well, I think moving to a single payer system might be net bad. I think I would lean towards it being net bad. Public options, I don't have as big of a disagreement with. I don't know exactly what the optimal healthcare outcome looks like, but I guess I'm declaring war on the sock dem mindset. Okay. I want to enshrine in you to always
live out,
always think on the margin, and to always just think about how things change people's incentives in a margin. So I guess are you familiar with any of the research or evidence on like how much expected profits influence investment into pharmaceutical drugs and other medical innovation?
I'm vaguely familiar. I haven't looked at it in forever.
Yeah. So I think, there is a reason the U.S. does a lot of pharmaceutical innovation. It's because that's where they
dump a
get
bunch of money in,
70%
yeah.
of their profit from, right?
Yep.
And, they can afford to charge other countries lower prices because they're charging them based on marginal cost. The U.S. is the one paying for all the fixed cost of research and development into those drugs.
Yeah,
so,
and most drugs fail. Yeah, and it's mostly wasted money. You gotta, what is it, like 1 in 10 are the ones that actually pay off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if the U.S. were to do a single payer system or even a public option that substantially negotiated drug prices down, you would see a decent amount less pharmaceutical innovation and other medical innovation to the extent they
what
reduce
if we just subsidize it more?
prices.
Just subsidize the fuck out of R&D.
We could do that, and I think generally like public research like into basic things can be good because there are positive externalities to that. But then it's just a more fundamental question of like, do you trust or do you think the incentives of people, pharmaceutical companies who are operating based on profit, are they going to be better and are they going to be more effective than the government when it comes to deciding which drugs to research.
You don't have to decide which drugs to research as the government. Like you read Abundance, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like you know the whole second half, and it talks about like pull funding and saying like, hey, if you're able to find a solution to this, we will give you a lot more funding. Not just here's a bunch of money, go fuck off and like figure out what you need to do, or you can only use it for this. It's like, hey, here are some goals, and if you reach these goals, we will fund you. Like we'll fund all the vaccines if you're able to solve this, or hey, if you find a cure to this, we will try this, or if you're able to like materially find a way to do this, like in the same way that their profit incentive might be aligned with what the pull funding could be. I don't think these things are mutually exclusive or like somehow completely disanalogous. Like you can absolutely do similar things to profit motive with pull funding or some sort of subsidy. You don't have to have the government to say, oh, like it's central planned and like you have to solve cancer, and if you don't, we're never giving you money. Like there's plenty of ways to dump money into this. There could be ways you could dump like 30% of it is like, hey, fuck around and just try stuff, right? Maybe that's how we discover Ozempic 2. I just don't think that necessarily saying single payer is going to be like the death of everyone in comparison to like what we have now, considering it is a completely broken system. I aspire to be better than we are now.
Sure, and like I don't think our healthcare system right now is very good either. I would definitely like I would favor at least some type of public option that would just like collectivize all the like weird different, we have healthcare for veterans and healthcare for poor people and elderly people, like all in these separate things, and sometimes they're contracted out to private insurance companies. I don't like that, but this is the SOCDEM mindset I'm talking about, Soy Pill. Okay, so I agree, these are not like mutually incompatible things, and as I've said, there are obvious like positive externalities to innovation generally, and especially to medical innovation, and the government can do things like have just bounties or whatever for certain things they want to be done, and have companies compete to do that. But sort of like one of the main ways people say that a single payer system or even a public option is going to save money is by negotiating down the price of drugs. And I would hope you would agree, Soy Pill, that like a reasonable person would assume, a reasonable pharmaceutical investor would assume that their expected future profits on any future innovation are lower if the U.S. were to have a single payer system or public option.
Do you agree?
Sorry,
and then we'll cycle
I'm not sure I got the question in there. Are you saying they would not innovate to do this because if the drug prices were negotiating down, they wouldn't make any money off of it, right? Is this basically what you're saying?
Well, so it's a SOCDEM mindset, Soy Pill. Okay, so
no, that was my.
Again,
I'm asking if that was your question.
Okay, so my question is, do you agree that it would be reasonable for pharmaceutical companies and investors to assume that if we had either a single payer system or a public option, expected future profits from medical innovation would be lower?
Yeah, if everything stayed the same, but we negotiated down.
Sure. Well, sure. So like I would hope that you would grant then, like, insofar as you lower the expected future profits in medical innovation, I'm not saying there's going to be no medical innovation. I'm not saying you can't partially subsidize it to offset it or whatever, but the best marginal investment for pharmaceutical companies is going to change. So there's going to be at some point where it's going to be like, oh, it's better for me to spend money on advertising or money on whatever else pharmaceutical companies
well, here,
do.
I'll make a wild concession now, dude. I would give up
Yeah.
half our innovation if we made sure no one died because they couldn't afford healthcare right now.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Would you do the opposite?
You got to be thinking.
Soy
I
Pill
wish I had.
doesn't want to cure cancer.
That's not what I said. I said I'd give up
True.
half of all innovation if everyone right now, not a
Soy
single
Pill
person
wants to
died
cure
from lack of
cancer
medical care because of
half as
funding.
quick. Okay.
That's like so I think the terms you should be thinking of is like disability adjusted or quality of life adjusted, like life years. Like it's true, it's unfortunate that some, I don't know how true this number is, but I think the number I've heard is like 40,000 people a year die from some type of like lack of medical care because of costs and stuff, right?
Right.
But also, you have to weigh that against. So like if a 20-year-old dies, that'd be extreme, but because of the lack of care due to affordability issues, that might be 60 years of disability adjusted life
right?
years lost.
Yeah, well, most of the medical care and funding and all that and research is for people over like what, 70, right? And like, not to be mean to old people, but I don't care if we get old people to live from 80 on average to 100. I super don't give a shit.
Well, I
Okay.
think
No,
well, I
Nonbon,
think
I
Nonbon,
would
last
much
word from
rather
you
no one
on
be
the we gotta
poor
cycle.
and have to
last
not afford
word.
healthcare than let an
Yeah, last word, then we
80-year-old
gotta cycle.
80-year-old
Have you seen
live
my
to
backstage?
120.
We got
Whatever.
tons of people.
That's true.
Okay?
That's fair. That's fair. I can talk to Soy Pill later, I guess, if he wants to. But
Soy
yeah,
Pill's
okay.
Soy
But
Pill's
I think it
DMs
should
are
be
always
taken in
open to
terms of
non-fun.
disability adjusted life years, and that accounts for the quality of life of how of older people who live with disabilities, right?
Yeah.
And I like the returns to medical innovation seem to be pretty large there. And I also I think the evidence on unions more generally, by the way, is just pretty mixed on the outcomes that they have, but we didn't quite get to that. But,
Wait,
so.
also someone my chat's strawmanning you because they're saying, "Oh, he cares more about innovation than life." The innovation saves lives is his point, not like, "Oh
Right.
boy, invention is a metric by which I value more than human potential or whatever." Like,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's non-fun. Always a pleasure.
Well,
And I'm having shrimp tonight, boy. So I'll see you
oh
later.
wow. Well, at least better have
Okay.
been euthanized. Thanks, non-fun. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, if saying guys, non-fun is an incredibly bright young man. If you're saying he's an actual moron, like you just don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, hey,
Hey, what's up?
Oh, non-fun didn't tell
what's
us how
up?
many Jews died in the Holocaust. Bryce, how many Jews died in the Holocaust?
I have no idea. So it's like 6 million or something. I
Close
have
enough.
no
All right,
idea,
what's
dude.
up?
What's up, man? Preface, I'm gonna say I have no idea who you are in the grand scheme of things. Like I've seen you on
Okay.
a few things here and there. I know you co-host with Pisco, but by and large, I don't really know you besides being
That's
some
fine.
kind of
Okay, we're on
leftist.
equal footing. I don't know you. Let's go.
Perfect. So I am expecting that you're aware of Davos and the kind of
Like
shit show that
the
it was
big
for the US.
I did not watch it. I'm aware of what Davos is, and I know that yeah, it didn't look great. And Trump call out Gavin Newsom like to his face or something like this? Yeah.
Yeah, he said he sort of called him out, but also is like called him a good guy in his weird, that weird way that he'll
Yeah.
like
He's a terrible
um
person. He's run the country into the ground, but we love Gavin Newsom, don't we, folks? He's a great guy.
yeah. So it seems like obviously there's a good Twitter thread on X or whatever the fuck it's called where a person breaks down this habit that Trump had, not habit, but like strategy that they seem to have, where he'll bring up some contentious thing like Greenland on a Friday. Over the weekend, he doubles down. On the Monday, that's when like the markets open, so the impact shoves the S&P 500 and all the other markets down. And then within like a day or two, he reaches some kind of like resolution with whoever he's beefing with, which then spikes the markets back
Right.
up.
This just happened in
Where,
Greenland, right? So like he just
yeah,
announced some sort of thing where it's like, actually, we have a deal with Greenland, so there's like a reverse trend. Yeah.
yeah. And so the huge thing seems like um, this seems to be a repeat strategy. He'll consistently talk about invading Canada. I think if I remember correctly, he literally did it on a Friday, doubled down on invading Canada or like whatever the fuck his points were over the weekend, and on the following, like once the markets opened,
Mm-hmm.
he'll like instigate a little bit, and
Yep.
then on Tuesday or Wednesday he'll have some kind of resolution.
Yeah, I don't know how
Um,
much of it's intentional, but what's your proposal? What's your question?
so So I guess the broader thing is that this has some kind of global effect, right? Like there's effects on everybody's stability. If Carney's
Yeah,
speech at
trust in our
Davos, which I
country
recommend,
is plummeting, and people
Gotcha.
don't know.
yeah.
Like the
Going.
investors are like, "What the fuck do
So
I do?" Okay, yeah.
yeah. So as your neighbor to the north, because I'm Canadian,
Oh, get him out of
I'm
here, Whick.
wondering
Get
like
this
how
guy.
do you Democrats, because you have your midterms coming up, which is a pretty big deal, but
Hmm.
then you have the next election too. How like what kind of thoughts? Because you guys are creators, so you guys have some voice, some capacity to like reach college campuses,
Yeah.
reach people that might vote. Like maybe they're boomers on the internet, whatever. How do you guys connect with these audiences? Like what kind of things do you do to actually like coalition build and actually like affect change out there on the streets? Because sure, like we could all be like Chud Logic and farming like lol cows and doing like rape reviews and all this shit and being like unhinged as fuck just to make a buck. But I think that there is a genuine question of like, what do you Americans need to do to actually like turn this country around? Because it's changing the world order. Like the liberal RBIO is like falling apart.
This is kind of an interesting question because I understand that the lead up was a preface to, hey, things are bad, but you could say this about like anything Trump's doing. But basically, your question is like, how do we stop Trump?
Yeah, like in terms of like big picture, not just in terms of what can Congress do like tomorrow, or like what can
Right,
Congress
like
do?
Hard.
you literally, this has to be like such a large 180 reversal. Like when Democrats win, like you have to impeach Trump if he's still in office, or when we win the White House, we have to reverse so much stuff to establish like trust back in other countries and like NATO and all of these other alliances we have. Because if we don't, they're all going to say essentially, hey, 1 4-year period away, you could elect some fucking retard and have everything we've built up completely destroyed. We'll never trade with you again. We'll never know like whether or not we can trust you to not invade us. We'll never know whether or not you're going to depose like our fucking president depending on a tweet. Yeah, we have to establish and solidify that we have checks and balances and like a power that can't just be completely coalesced into the executive branch. And if we don't do that, like it's gonna remain this like distrustful, broken world. I don't know how exactly what laws we can pass because all of the barriers that we have now to try to stop stuff like that are just being ignored. And when we do try to impeach, the Senate doesn't convict, and half of the country is just like full on dick suck of Trump. But like the only thing that creators can do is try to spread the word, talk about how crazy this is, and change people to vote for not Trump. And then when we win, I think the government needs to like completely like dismantle and like dissuade this from ever happening again. Obviously legally, but like some of these people need to be tried and put in prison.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of shit that I think we neighbors and I guess peers and allies and so on want to hear too, because I think we could all agree that we're kind of at this like weird like nothing ever happens kind of state of the world where like Europe isn't really doing anything until Trump instigates in terms of like Greenland, and so on and so forth, and kind of the same vibe on domestically in the U.S. And I think in prior to I'd say the recent couple of years, probably the same in Canada. Like nothing ever really happens, nothing ever changes. I guess a follow-up question would be: so there's a ton of disaffected youth. You look at the popularity of Sneeko and like all these people that are consuming content of like
The DEI
lolcows and
Nazis.
like
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, the D, yeah, exactly. That's perfect. So all these people that would have probably been executed by Hitler are farming these like young men that are disaffected. There are lots of like leftists that feel disaffected and disconnected. So you have to like there has to be some because the way forward is still liberalism. Like the way forward is still having like some mishmash or blanket patchwork of like neoliberalism and other like leftist versions. But like what? Because it seems like they've all originated from the fact that people can't really read the room or read the temperature of things because maybe it's not an ability to meme or like I'm not sure exactly what it is, but like how do you maintain some level of seriousness but
But
like do
like,
you
yeah,
just
not
do
be
more
uptight and
Newsom
out of
shit
touch.
posting?
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's a coalition. It's you've got dipshits like me making dumb jokes and trying to get some of the more like meme pilled people on board. It's people like Whick hosting panels and having all the Dem shit on the right wing. It's politicians maintaining that like, hey, I'll swear, but I also still have presidential aura. I'm not a fucking like dipshit like Trump. Like it's all these things, and you're pandering to all sorts of people who have all these stupid single issue reasons as to why they are oh, I watched Sneeko because a lib said that a video game was too fucking like white male or whatever, to the people that are like, I'm voting for Trump because I want to kill all the Mexicans, right? Like you have to appeal to all of the people that you can and bring them in and realize this is bad. And you can't do that in one person. You can't do it in 10 people. It's every single swath of the gradient of who's going to realize this is awful and it needs to stop.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I would bring up next is the renege good thing. Do you think that fighting the case is a good strategy, or
It's
should
an
you look for like
incredibly
because
good
it's a horrible
strategy
event?
because it's poll wise, it's like an 80-20 issue. Like most people just think this is awful. So yeah, it's just like something to hammer in super hard. And not just because it's right, by the way. Like obviously it's right to do because this shouldn't have happened,
Yeah.
but it's also just like people view this as abhorrent. So yeah, you should fight it.
I think fighting on the ice specifically is a winning strategy for the Dems. Support for ICE is plummeting even among the right wing, right? Um, no one likes what they're doing. No one, even if you think that they should have more deportations, no one likes how Trump is doing it, except for like the 20% of the country who would like Trump no matter what he did, right? But yeah, Bryce, thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no
Sorry
problem.
you're Canadian
Nice
though.
talking to you.
Yeah. He laughs like we were joking. I don't understand why he thinks we're joking with that. I don't get it.
I'm starting to notice Canadian accents more, having spent more time with JJ McCullough.
I'm so they're infecting you, man. You
No.
gotta.
I'm
cleanse
starting to
yourself.
talk like them too, Wick.
You need to
I'm
have
Canadian.
the purifying ritual needs to begin. Okay,
Yes,
and
the
we
ritual of Chud from It. They gotta bully the Canadian out of me.
What's up? You're deafened, next magician. Undeafened quickly. I guess you can't hear us, so I guess you're gonna go.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, 10 seconds of fame. Good try.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone thinks that JJ is faking his accent. Like, if he's
It's like-
faking it, he's doing a great job.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry. I have to close CS:GO.
No, I demand that you keep. No, you gotta ask your question. You gotta ask your question while you're playing.
Wait.
What's up?
Wait, how many Jews died in CS:GO?
8 million?
It's too many. I don't even think 8 million people died in CS:GO. Don't believe it. All right, what's up?
In CS:GO, maybe like 2 million.
Okay. What's your question, buddy?
What do you got for us, man?
Sorry. Question is, Mr. Pill,
That's
how
me.
do you feel about Mr. Signifier placing you below Anthony Fantano on his problematic white boys tier list?
Because I think Anthony Fantano is less dark woke than me. He's like, what did he say? Like, Anthony is in the like, you'll take you to the cookout, and I'm in the like, we'll privately discuss with, right? Like, I think it makes sense
Yes.
that FT Signifier puts me on the, hey, maybe I don't want to attach my name publicly constantly to the guy that's saying stupid shit half the time. That's totally fair. I accept my position on the white boy problematic tier
fair.
list. Yeah.
After there's no black people in Germany, that's a pretty fair stance to take as a black man.
I lived there 2 years. I didn't see a single one. I don't believe in there.
I didn't know you lived in Germany.
Yeah, I was in Munich from 2019 to 2021. Not a single black person. Not a single one.
Huh. Anyways, I forgot every other one of my questions. I
That's
think
okay.
I have
You only
two
get one.
more.
And okay, fine. You get one more question.
What do you got? What do you got?
How many hands do you jerk it with?
2.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in.
Guy wasn't reading chat. I already answered that question in chat.
Oh my goodness, hello.
Hi.
If your name's Maddie, you have the most narcissistic username ever.
Perhaps, but that's irrelevant.
Well, what is relevant is how many
No,
Jews died in the
Irrelevant's not
Holocaust.
on this show today. He's a different guy. But anyway, continue.
Let me open my notebook. I wrote down some questions.
Wait, my question is how many Jews died in the Holocaust, though. You gotta answer that one first.
Probably like 6 million. I don't really know.
All right.
At least
all
4.
right. The Israeli overlords are appreciative of your answer. Okay, go ahead.
Let me look. Do you think that the US is on its way to a recession? And if so, do you think there's any way to pull ourselves out of it before we, the citizens, have to deal with the aftermath?
This is a better question for non-fond. I think that it really depends on if, one, the tariffs are going to escalate into a crazier state, and two, if the AI bubble pops. I think the tariffs, Trump is flip-flopping so much that they might actually not cause a recession. They haven't yet. I think, what is it, like 30 to 40% of our GDP is being propped up by the AI bubble. And I say bubble without actually knowing whether or not this is going to pop, because if they find a way to make this profitable before it pops, then it won't be. Just like the dot-com bubble popped, but then it became profitable later. I don't have confidence it will, based on the fact that like the way that they've like primarily used it by most people does not seem to be a way that it will make money. So I do think we'll head to a recession there. But even worse than that, much further down the line, I think we're going to just have massive unemployment when we automate a lot of stuff. But this is just a shot in the dark. I'm not an economist. I have no idea if it's really going to happen. This is just the vibes based on what I know, and I don't do a lot of research into this. So if it doesn't happen, I could go either way on it. What I'm saying is I'm ill-informed, and you should talk to people who read about these things far more often.
Let me look at another question then.
Okay. I do like these prepared questions, like on the notepad. I appreciate these. But also you're not honoring the spirit of the show, which is you're being nice and just asking me things. But this isn't a Q&A. This is a versus the world. So
Perhaps.
I'm gonna limit this to
But
3 nice, kind questions, and Wick, you just kick her as hard as you can, as hard as you can smash that
no,
kick button.
Okay.
don't do that. Okay.
You
What
already
do you
asked
think?
one. You got 2 more. Go ahead.
Yes, I can count. What do you think is the most pervasive issue currently within the U.S. government?
I'm trying to think of like a way to phrase this. I think the idea that like everything is being coalesced into the executive branch is probably the most harmful, but there's a million things happening that are bad. But the fact that like we are constantly subverting Congress and taking administration duties and giving them to the president is just a really bad precedent, and we're this is like our descent into authoritarianism and the failure of democracy. Yeah, and the fact that we have a person elected in a Congress or as the president who doesn't believe in democracy. I think this is very bad.
Yeah, perhaps that's bad.
Perhaps.
And mm,
I'm imagining you just have like a Santa list of questions, and that's why you can't pick one.
oh, I do. I do. I've been watching the stream and I've been like writing down questions as I think of them. Okay. This is my last question, even though I don't want it to be. What's a hot take you have that most left-leaning or progressive people would disagree with?
It's always hard. I like it always like comes up out of nowhere. A hot take on the left. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I say this, but this is also like tongue in cheek. But it's like depending on like if you showed me the data of like how much this would help, I might be convinced to be an eco-terrorist. But like there a lot of things would have to happen for this to be true.
Sorry,
How many?
what?
Hold on. What would have to like?
You would have to show me that
Eco-terrorist.
like
Can you define that? Like, are we talking about bombing an oil rig?
Yeah, that kind of eco-terrorist. But like I'm not advocating for it, but what I'm saying is like for this to happen, it would have to be like one like you'd have to show me like irrefutable data that like if we don't do something about it by this date, like everyone will die or like millions and billions of people will die from global warming because of like the temperature change and the earth will become uninhabitable. 2, that doing an eco-terrorism would somehow like change this or alter the course, when in reality it probably wouldn't, because enough people wouldn't be on board, and like blowing them up wouldn't stop them because they just build a new oil rig. And then 3, that I could actually do something about it by like not just immediately getting arrested by the FBI by telling my audience to go do it. So like there'd be a million caveats to this, but that was my hot take, that like there is a world where I might be like, maybe we need to get a little more radical about this, but it's
Soy Pill, the terrorist.
Yeah.
In an alternate reality.
I'm ready for that clip to be used against me, even though I gave all of the
got his
hypothetical caveats and the tree that needs to happen.
We'll cut that all out. He's got all this. He's got his beanie on. He's sneaking through the dark with the bombs on his back, climbing up the cell towers with the 5G, spreading the cancer, right?
Yeah.
Just destroying it all.
So true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Anyway, wait,
And I
just
look
to be
forward
clear to my
getting
audience, and thank you for your questions, don't go do eco-terrorism. I don't think it'll help right now.
Noted. We're going to give Nick's Magician one more try. One more try. You're live.
There we are.
Okay,
Hello. How many
Thanks
Jews
for
died in
giving
the
me a
Holocaust?
second shot. All right. I'm going to respond to something. You know,
You're going to respond to my question, which is how many
this.
Jews died in the Holocaust?
6, 7. I don't know.
6 or 7 million?
No,
All
I'm
right, I'll
just
take
kidding.
it. All right. What's your question?
Bro, these fucking, it's so crazy that we got actual fucking neo-Nazi revisionism in 2026.
Hey,
Jesus.
Man. Yeah.
So on Twitter, you were responding to, I think, Archcast talking about a silly little topic, not a super important thing, but I think these little silly things kind of stack up and they result in demons like Asmongold being popular.
Okay.
So you responding
what this
to
is? Yeah, okay.
the Star Trek wheelchair situation.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let me give context, because I this is an opinion I've changed. I saw the little tiefling in a wheelchair in the D&D thing. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Why are there wheelchairs in medieval settings? And then I thought about it and be like, all right, So clearly the reason this is in here is because some disabled person was like, I want representation in this D&D universe, which for the most part, if it doesn't make sense in the universe, I think is silly, right? Like if some black person was like, I really want to be represented in the Wehrmacht in this World War II game, which they did in that one Call of Duty, that's fucking dumb. But then I thought, is there a way to do this in a way that works in the D&D universe? And I thought, yeah, of course you could have a situation, right? Wick, you're more D&D lord than me. Couldn't you have a
Battle
situation?
wheelchair you talking
No,
about?
not
Like,
even.
where it's
Just
like
like
the
what
spider.
the idea is like, why would there be people in wheelchairs in a world where you have level 8 regenerative spells, right? And my answer is, hey, I'm Wick, the DM, and a fucking evil fucking witch put a curse on me, and my legs don't work unless I get my like essence out of this amulet. And until then, I'm just crippled for the next 30 years unless I go find her, right? Like, could this not just be a reasonable explanation as to how I could include a wheelchair person in my D&D universe?
I mean, look, if you want, here, I got opinions, okay? If you want, like, if someone wants to do this in the game, then they need to talk to me, like, way beforehand so we can make it make sense, like you said.
Right. There's a
But
way to
I've
make this
never
make sense, right?
in my entire 42 years on this fucking earth and probably 32 years DMing games, I've never had anyone ask me anything like that. The closest I've got is when people want like a fucking battle
A battle
mount
wheelchair or
of
something,
some
right?
sort.
Or
And
or for
it's not really a
example,
wheelchair, like they're not like disabled, but they want some fucking battle mount
the
to
point
ride
is
or
like
whatever.
lore wise, it could make sense that there are people in wheelchairs in D&D, right? Because not everyone has these spells. Maybe they're isolated from the like wizarding community and they fell off their fucking horse and they live 400 hours away from like the nearest magic user. Like it's possible for this to happen and it's possible for them to fix it maybe. And I don't think that should be something that you like lose your shit over. And same with Star Trek where it's like, hey, there's someone in a wheelchair in the Star Trek thing and it's like, hey, fucking Captain Pike was in like a beep machine for like the first season of, or I don't remember what season of original series it was, but it's like this happens and people freak out about it because they think it's like, oh, you're ruining it by injecting diversity, which does happen sometimes where it's like, why is there a fucking black woman in the Wehrmacht? That's stupid. This is breaking my immersion. But I think the reaction to this and the reactionaries are so quick to not even give it a shot because they're just like, whatever, it's all bad unless it's exactly how I expect it to be.
Yeah, but
anyway, wait. And I want Nix to come in because you actually
sorry,
didn't say what your
I
contention
don't
was.
wanna,
I was giving
I don't want,
context.
look, I got thoughts on this, and we can have another RPG debate. Even though, can I just say, just real quick, the RPG people have stopped talking to me. I guess I'm just too left wing for them.
You're too political.
Yeah,
You don't hate Dev, so they're not going to talk to you anymore.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Oh yeah,
Go
and
ahead,
also
Nick.
my chatter did point out like we've cured a lot of diseases that people still suffer from because not everyone has access to the stuff. But go on, yeah.
So I agree. There's obvious scenario like if you're a peasant, you're not going to be able to the cleric in the capital is not going to fix your legs. You're going to have to pay for that, right?
Yeah.
These things make sense, right? This is understandable. The problem is when the developers of these old properties are taken over by new groups of people who want to
just say women.
Not just women, right?
Right. Also trans women.
But mostly women.
I'd say it's mostly soy white men, but that's beside the point, right? Altering these old properties that did have a certain vibe and are trying to add these new aspects that don't really make sense, don't belong, and
yes,
the bigger
this happens,
problem is adding them in a sloppy manner.
I agree with
no
this.
No one has ever complained about. I think it's Bran from Game of Thrones being crippled in the show.
Oh, that's fair. Not complaining about the crippleness.
I've heard a lot of people complain about Bran.
Yeah.
People
Okay,
complain
wait.
about Bran,
Nix,
but they don't
Nix,
complain
I'm
that
going to
he's
save you
in a wheelchair in a fantasy setting.
Well, Nix, I think you're making an argument now that I've made already in a video that you should all go watch called does wokeness ruin everything, right? And it's like, no, bad wokeness does. You don't hate woke, you hate bad writing. Having a female badass character in Alien is fine. Having a female badass character that's like, I hate men, and then she kicks the alien in the balls and is like, down with the patriarchy is bad because that's horrible writing, right? Like it's the fact that it's sloppily inserted in a manner because it's meant to serve an agenda and not, hey, I have an agenda, can I make this work? And if they can't, it's awful. I agree with this completely.
No, and you to be extremely fair to you, you have a way more nuanced position than a lot of the people in your space. So I made a little bit of assumption.
Yeah, well, are you Nix, are you aware of the meme of where it's like, oh, so you can accept dragons and magic, but you can't accept a Nissan Altima 2003? Like, what are you, a bigot?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like this is I agree with this. So, like, that's not an excuse to sloppily insert things and just call people dumb because like there's something clearly wrong. Like, what was I got in an argument with H Bomber guy about this, about the Dragon Age Veilguard, where they're like saying stuff like, oh, orc lives matter, or like, oh, his pronouns are they them, or their pronouns are they them, and it's like, this is very out of place. This is anachronistic language. This is sloppily inserted for an agenda. You can do this in a way that works. Like in Star Trek, they have non-binary aliens, but they don't like use modern language to describe it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very happy that there is at least one person I can cite to now who has this kind of position. It does not seem like anyone else in the space has that nuance that you have.
Hell yeah, I'm breaking new ground.
I would say like Hutch definitely doesn't. Like Hutch is a very big offender of this. He defends the most ridiculous woke insertions into any kind of media. That would make like the Christian conservatives and their lovely stuff that they made in the 90s blush, right? Like, but I see this as the same side or two sides of the same coin. This is the same thing that made a million atheists in the satanic
absolutely.
panic, right?
No, I was in the anti-SJW phase in 2016 because everyone was being so stupid. But it's like, hey, I now can see what you guys meant, but that doesn't mean you guys weren't doing it super dumb in a way that annoyed everyone. So.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Last thing, Nick. Last thing. Yeah.
All right. I was just gonna say, when these conversations come up and your compatriots in the space are making cringe takes, I'd like you to, because it's like a minor issue. It's like a nothing burger, right?
Well, no, I'll grant you, it's actually not a minor issue because people. No, wait, Nix, I'll grant you this. This is important, right? Gamergate is a minor stupid issue. I think that might have helped Trump win, like a non-significant amount, a non-marginal amount.
Things like Gamergate and similar events
because people are fucking dumb. Yes, and it's important to address these things with nuance.
Cultural changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, because Hutch is really, really bad at this. Destiny's
Hutch thought Avatar was a good movie, and Destiny has horrible media takes, or he has horrible food takes. I don't know. Some of his media takes are bad. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll push back. Don't worry. You got me. You got my back. You got my. I got your back.
Yeah. Next.
So I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and I'll come at you with a spicier topic next time.
The Jewish community thanks you.
Next time we're ready. We're ready. We got time for maybe.
Yeah, we're wrapping up at 6, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Speaking of movies, I got to go watch one. I don't even know what I'm watching, but
yeah, well, we got time for maybe one, maybe two more people. Do you have any? I'll let you choose backstage. Pick one.
I don't know. Who's in line? Who's in the queue? Who's waiting the longest?
I don't know.
Okay, well, don't pick Muad'Dib because I know him and he's just gonna be nice to me. Okay. Pick Kung Fu Joe. He's stupid.
Okay. Kung Fu Joe, you've been chosen. You've been selected. What do you got?
Sorry, Killing Bucket or Captain Bucket. I haven't read Killing Bucket.
I just jumped in right now and I'm here.
All right, you have 10 seconds to piss me off. Go. Also, how many Jews died in the Holocaust?
12 million. I'm more soy than both of you together.
Damn.
Okay, I got a question that'll piss you off, Soy Pill, but it's for Kung Fu Joe. Kung Fu Joe, tell us your stance on have you ever asked your wife to have sex with her before you've had sex with her?
No. Verbally, no.
Never. Do you think marital rape is a thing?
Yeah.
You sound a little.
Yeah, you sound not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine some instances where that would be the case. Yeah.
What would one of those instances be?
Probably where there's like a hard no coming from the wife, and the husband's like, "Too bad." Or
okay, what about a soft no? If she's like, "No, I don't want to," and then he does it anyway, is that rape?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes no means yes in a way.
Gotcha. Wait, do you believe in dinosaurs?
The large animals?
Like, did they exist millions of years ago?
Hold on 1 second.
Did dinosaurs roam the earth millions of
Dinosaurs
years ago in the
exist. So,
prehistoric
if you're
and
just asking me if
Paleozoic?
large animals existed,
No. Did
then
dinosaurs
sure.
exist?
Well, the dinosaurs, the term dinosaur actually didn't exist till the 1800s.
Okay, that's not what I asked.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Since it's such a new concept, I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Do you think cars exist?
Yeah, cars definitely exist.
Well, cars
we made
have.
them.
What do you mean? They're new.
We made them. We have evidence for cars being made.
Do you think we don't have evidence for dinosaurs existing?
Well, not really. I mean, you could kind of dig up billions of years of bones and make your own Pokemon. So that's, that's
So
kind
you
of a
just think they
challenge
just kind of
against
like,
the,
like
dinosaur claim.
like just fucking threw a bunch of random bones together and say, yeah, that looks right, and we just started making shit up.
Yeah, happens all the time. Ever hear of a dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you think we conceived of that?
Well, we probably found some sort of dinosaur bones and thought they were dragons, and before we had the technology to perfectly recreate them.
Sir, why weren't they dragon bones, sir?
Well, that's what we thought at the time. It might be the case that when we get more technology, we realize that dinosaur bones are actually something completely different. But based on the evidence we have now, I think we're a lot more sophisticated and able to reconstruct biological organisms using their bones than we were when we were in the fucking, I don't know, Han Dynasty and just found random shit and said, hey, it's a fucking mystical fantasy creature. But I'd like to think we're a little more advanced.
I think we could just meet in the middle here. I'll take dragons. You could have dinosaurs. And
Okay,
mine
you'll have the I'm retarded and believe nothing that's real, and I'll have the I'll believe real things.
Look,
okay.
dude, mine breathe fire and they fly. So don't be mad at me.
Okay.
Okay, you chose the lower.
We realize
tier
if dragons were real, we'd be able to find bones similar to bat wings that would spread out and splay and have some
Who
sort
said
of
we
like
haven't?
web. We haven't. We just haven't. Well, actually, that's not true.
No,
We have found
no,
those
no,
for
you don't just
pterodactyls, actually. So I mean,
come
some
on,
dinosaurs
bro.
fly.
You don't get to claim my dragon bones as your dinosaur bones. Come on.
Okay. Well, do you have a question for Soy Pill Kung Fu Joe?
Yeah. Soy Pill, you said you believe in equality between the sexes, right?
I mean, I don't know if I've even phrased it that way specifically, but sure I do. In what way do you think I mean that?
Wait, does equality have like multiple meanings, or is there just kind of like, can we just go with one?
Well, equality could imply a lot of things. Like, let's say I say, I believe in equality between the races. And by that, I mean we should treat every single race exactly the same with absolutely zero historical context as to what that might mean. In an ideal world, I would want to treat every race exactly the same.
Sense? How about just as far as rights go?
Depends on what we're talking about, because it's unfortunate we can't give men the right to an abortion unless they're trans. So, yeah, in general.
Well, so the thing is, like, you can't see. That's kind of
What's your question? Just pretend like I said yes.
Contradiction, right? Because you can't
just
really
pretend like I said yes.
Really have equality if
just pretend like I said yes.
Equal, right?
Just pretend like I said yes. I believe in equality.
Oh, okay, but you kind of like at the same time you realize that men can't have abortions.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's literally impossible for everything to be perfectly equal.
Right?
But in general, I believe in equality, and they should be treated the same, although there are obviously going to be exceptions when you come to the biological realities of sexual dimorphism. Now, what is your question?
Well, that was kind of it. It was like, why would you believe in equality between the sexes when the sexes aren't equal?
Because when you say that, the inference is, hey, maybe we shouldn't pay people less or treat these people worse or not give these people the same rights. And then there are things on the margins like abortion or blah, 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 blah that are like, okay, well, obviously this is impossible to make equal. We'll do everything we can to make it fair.
All right. So my main question was like with abortion, let's say, like, I just think that you lack a moral compass that would be consistent with everyone else's in a way that would kind of make them cringe. So I'm just want to test that a little bit.
All right,
like,
test me. I'm
if
ready.
there was a woman that, let's say she was like a social media influencer, and her thing was having abortions so that she could sacrifice that abortion to Moloch. Like, would you just like allow that to rock legally, or what would you do about that?
Is she having them within like a framework or a timeline where she's not, having like a third trimester abortion or?
Yeah, she's getting them perfect. They're perfectly like legal as far as like the time.
I would have a no legal objection to this. I would say you probably shouldn't do that, but yeah, I think that's fine.
Got it. Okay, that was all I had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gross, by the way. Terrible.
Have a great day.
I think it's kind of gross to like promote abortion as a fun thing
You're a
you should
warlock.
do. Yeah,
You suck.
you're a warlock.
You're a
What?
warlock.
What's that?
I thought
Is
you were.
this a new anti-Semitic slur?
I don't know.
The new slur unlock?
Warlocks are magic users who make dark pacts with an entity to gain their powers.
Oh,
in
you're right.
D&D,
So it's because I'm like making
right?
a pact with Moloch or something
I
like
guess maybe. I don't.
All right,
I'm
I
not.
gotta choose
I'm
another
not
one
actually
now.
sure how he's using it. But gang, this
that.
has
Wait,
been.
we have 8 minutes left. We can get a couple of these people in
One
here.
more?
Get JI in here. I see they
Okay.
don't have a Discord profile picture. That usually means Spice.
Awesome. You've been chosen. Hello. You're muted on your end.
Give them 5 seconds, and if not, I choose. I want to go. I want to go. Is this like an Asian like profile picture and they're doing like a racism? Oh no, it's Smosh.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, it's Smosh. It's Smosh smoking a blunt.
Got it. How many Jews died in the
Okay,
Holocaust?
what do you got for us?
Yes. I wanted to ask, and this came from the Vadim thing when I was listening, because I usually listen to this while I'm doing shit. And I was talking about this a bit in VC. How do you contend with like the movement that like Hassan was part of, just broadly
The
after the
uncommitted movement?
campus protest? Just the like pro-Palestine thing in general. And just to be
How do
clear,
I contend? Like, do I have an issue with it?
I wouldn't say you have an issue. I'm not like I more want to express like how do you contend with the fact that they like just kind of turned up the rhetoric without like a clear goal after the campus protest failed? Because I noticed there was like a steep increase in like I guess explicit like Hamas support. And I just want to make it clear that I don't support what the IDF's doing. I kind of have the loner box position, just to be clear, on Israel Palestine. But
How do I contend with the fact that like they were so pro-Palestine that they were like anything Hamas does is justifiable in the eyes of what the IDF is doing?
Everything Hamas does is justifiable in the eyes of what the Sorry, you said
basically
it,
like the way that Hassan is like, oh, no resistance is perfect, or like people are like, yeah, I support Hamas.
Okay,
it's like the
I thought
Jewish...
you were saying that the IDF was like
excuse me,
endorsing Hamas, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I think this is bad, not just optically, but also like morally. Like you can say, hey, the Palestinian plight is a just one, and they should try to like we should stop the genocide, blah blah blah. But if you're like, and also Hamas is good, it's like one, it's not going to win people over your side. Two, Hamas is not good. Hamas is bad. And I don't think the way that Hamas does things is going to get Palestinians out of this situation. Clearly, it is, especially what they did after October 7th, made things incredibly worse. But not to victim blame. Like obviously. Blowing them up is the bad part.
I would largely agree with that. It's just been like because I'm
Wait, you don't have to explain why you agree. You don't have a contention then, and we can get more people in here in the next 5 minutes. I love you. Whick, get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Ow. Ziri. Bring Ziri in. We love you. Also, he dodged the Holocaust question,
Siri?
so he's
Which
probably
one's Siri?
anti-Semitic.
Oh, I see
He
him.
hates the IDF.
Siri, this guy?
Ziri, what's up? Ziri, you have 5 seconds. I saw you in my chat saying, bring me in. I swear, you're going to sound so dumb.
Hey, I'm on the thing. Right.
Ziri,
so,
I forgive you for being foreign. How many Jews died in the Holocaust?
Are you Australian?
Oh, heavens no. I'm from England.
Disgusting. How many Jews died in the Holocaust?
6 million.
Hell yeah. Okay. Well, not hell yeah, but all right. What's your question?
Hell yeah.
We're going a bit further right than I thought. No. So basically, my whole thing was like, do you acknowledge that like Trump is not a new phenomenon? Like the whole plan of like expanding the executive and packing the Supreme Court has been in motion for like decades.
Yes, it's a direct result of Tea Party politics, which is a direct result from like Reagan and Nixon, and like this
Yeah,
is a
exactly.
path that you could trace back. Trump
So-
is just like a way to that radicalized this, made it go super fast, and gave people that outlet. But they've been trying to do a lot of similar stuff, and they're using Trump right now. Yes, I agree.
So you were probably like riding with Biden in 2020. That didn't
100%.
stop Trump. So, but now you're like, we should vote for Kamala to stop Trump, or we should. It doesn't seem like it's working. Would be my point.
Well, to be clear,
like if you want the
Biden
Democratic
stopped
Party
Trump for
to
4
fix-
years. I think the mistake was not electing Biden. The mistake was Merrick Garland should have prosecuted and put Trump in jail for trying to overturn the election, and they didn't. So if you're saying like, well, we shouldn't vote for Kamala in
You're
2024.
saying now they're using Trump, but it's not like Trump goes away and the whole thing gets fixed, right? Like
No.
you need them to actually
I'm aware
reverse
of
all
this.
stuff.
Right. You need the Democrats to fight harder back against this shit, but not
And the way you
getting them
make them
elected.
do that is by not voting for them. Like they won't change if you vote for them. That's how democracy works.
Okay. Do you see the Democrats deciding now to change in the ways that
Not
the
from
left
what I've seen
demanded
very
of them?
much, no.
Okay, so either all the bad things happen and the Democrats don't change, which is what I'm kind of seeing now, or the Democrats win, a lot less of the bad things happen, and we can actually kind of push the country a little more left, and less of these bad things happen, and maybe that we can
We've
have
like
more
established
safeguards.
that doesn't happen, right? So you're kind of just saying
Well,
it doesn't work either way. But I think
No, what I'm saying is
it
that
hasn't happened for the past 30 years, has it?
it depends on what you mean.
Hold on, we
What has
won-
happened?
What has
Or
happened?
like the Republican plan overarching has succeeded for that entire period.
No. There's
Well,
several periods it
essentially it
didn't
has.
work. That's kind of
Well,
the
yeah,
point.
but they have reached the conclusion they wanted to reach. Is the point?
I don't think they have yet.
They're
In
not
fact,
done.
that's why it's like the midterms are still important. Getting the next 2028 election is important because they have absolutely not seen their project 2025 to fruition. And establishing and solidifying these things is a lot easier when the Democrats aren't in power, i.e., 2016, where you got 3 Supreme Court justices, or like everything they're doing now. Like, yes, we didn't stop it. Yes, this is not a, hey, after this election, we're done. This is an ongoing process. We can keep fighting back. And the more they win elections, the harder it's going to be to reverse and prevent this from ever happening again. Even if we can't stop the forward momentum of fascism right now, like, because we, they're in power, or like, oh, like we couldn't have, if we had prosecuted Nixon, this never would have happened. This is a thing that we have to keep doing forever to stop these evil people. Yeah.
I don't buy that logic, to be honest. Like,
Well,
I think
okay.
you have to draw a line in the
What's-
sand somewhere and say, I'm not going
And
to
then
support
what?
you until you change.
And then what?
And then hopefully they change.
But okay, what if they don't?
Then you're fucked, right? You have to start a new party or something.
Okay, well, no one's doing that. Where's the
You can't
Hassan
just keep
party?
voting
Where's the
for
left
same
party?
people who haven't fixed it.
Where's
That's
the new
not gonna work.
primary? Okay, well, you can kvetch. Sorry, I'm getting mad at you. You can kvetch about it, and that's fine, and I probably agree with the kvetching. But now what, right? It's like, okay, well, we drew the line in the sand. All right, what's our solution? Our solution is to critique the power more. It's like, okay, well, this isn't helping either. So the path of least resistance for me is Democrats. If there's a better option that you present, not you specifically, but like you, the people with the same mindset, present to me, then I will try to support that. I don't see it.
Why don't you work to build a better option? Like,
I don't know if it's in my power to build. In the same way I would critique Hassan for not canvassing and helping the Democrats enough. If Hassan used all his money and influence to start a new party, and I was like, I'm on board with 70% of these policies, and it's better than the Dems, bam, there we go. But I don't think I have that power.
I mean, at least you're acknowledging it's a good thing, I suppose. That's
It could be,
I'd call
yeah.
that a win in
There-
my book.
I agree completely. Yeah, there could be a better solution out there, a third position. Although, is that like a Nazi thing? I don't know.
Okay.
Third positionism.
Yeah, something
I
like
mean, we
that.
started out hooraying the Holocaust and we've ended at Nazi science.
I mean,
Thanks, Siri.
here we
I love
are.
your chats. I appreciate you. Sorry for getting a little heated there.
Have
No,
a
no
great
problem,
day,
no hate.
Siri.
Yeah. Oh man, can we get one more in here? Last one. Barsuk, and then
pick
I'm
one.
done.
Who?
Barsuk Drivel CEO.
Okay.
That's got a cool name.
Okay, last one. You were the very last person. Hit us.
Oh God, I'm going to
Call me Whick.
really make you regret this.
No, you're not, because first you're going to tell me how many Jews died in the Holocaust.
6 million. Sorry, I was actually
Sorry,
gonna, I
did
was
you
gonna
do
say
it?
that the second I got in here, but because I do want to speed through this.
Okay, go.
I don't want to keep you guys up, but just literally, I disagree with you. I think on only one thing,
Okay.
maybe the finer points of gun control. I'm not too sure. But I in a recent video, you talked about trans women in sports, which is, you know, fucking right boogeyman. And I'm sure you know that. I'm sure you know that engaging with it in general is kind of like stupid. But, you know, at some point you do have to, you know, recognize their concerns. And I think what's important to recognize here, you were talking about, you know, how bringing up Michael Phelps is a bad idea because, you know, it's simply such a rare thing, and you think that if there was a race of Michael Phelps, they would have a separate league, I believe, right?
Yeah, essentially, like people say, oh, so trans women in women's sports have some sort of advantage statistically on average, but so does Michael Phelps, and that's why he's the best. And I say, yes, but if there was a league where we're like, all right, no Michael Phelpses, because this is just how we did this, and then Michael Phelps says, like, I changed my name to Daniel Phelps, and then it's like, well, hold on, now all these Michael Phelps are like much better than all the non-Michael Phelps. This is definitely not why we had this league in the first place. Shouldn't we at least try to find a way to integrate them? This is my argument, yes.
Yeah. So I would like to point out, one, we do not have a separate Michael Phelps league, despite the
We
fact that
don't.
he is better than everyone else.
True.
So that kind of is the incongruity here. It's being made into a boogeyman, and
Boy,
that's
hold on.
because
I know we don't have a separate Michael Phelps league. That's because there's not more than one Michael Phelps. That's my point. Is if there were,
okay, so
1% of the population
are you aware
was
of how
as
many transgender
like
athletes there are?
less like not a lot. Like I think in the like bigger categories it's like dozens, like or less. Like it's very few.
Yeah. I believe it's 10 right now.
Only 10, really, in like the NCAA or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's within the WNBA and those major ones.
Okay.
I'm sure there's
Point is
smaller
like
sports
fucking
that still
none.
have some.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we have this small amount of people, you know, at most 2% of the population, and you got to think of that as 2% of the population that wants to participate in sports too. So
Right. So it's
it
not
gets
even
really
that big.
tiny.
Yeah, it's very tiny. Yes.
Yeah. So even if we have like 15 people in one sport that really, you know, they're trans women, they're fucking strong as hell and really want to play.
Sure.
Does this truly upset the whole balance of the sport to the point where it becomes an actual problem? Like
so if you want to talk about the scale of the problem, I would obviously acknowledge this is not a huge problem. However, there's a few things that are going to happen. One, every single time that person plays, let's just like, if you're granting like they're just better than everyone, right? Because of they have whatever advantages.
Yeah, they wouldn't be, but let's say
let's say they are for the sake of argument here, because I'm fully aware that this is not the case every time, right? But let's say they were. Then every single person they played against would be like, well, fuck me. Like, I am in the women's league. Like, I don't play in the men's league because I can't beat these people. And now I'm getting my fucking ass kicked by someone who was born a man. This seems unfair to me. I think that would be, in some capacity, unfair and against the reason why you had the sex segregation in the first place. And two, optically, this is going to be fucking horrible, because as much as like the Republicans are stupid because they're like, oh, this fucking woman got a volleyball spiked in her face by a trans woman, and oh, boo-hoo, like who gives a shit? Like people get spiked in the face all the time. If it were to the point where it's like, okay, this, like, people can look at the footage and be like, this is very clearly not the, you know, like fair play that we would expect from average woman on women sports games, I think they're going to use that, and they do, obviously. This was just why it's bad to concede this in certain capacities. Use this to crack down and keep trans women out of other places and just be awful to trans people. So I don't think we should ban them from sports. It's not going to ruin women's sports. All I'm saying is, to some capacity, it seems that although some people say, like, you know, there are certain organizations like, hey, if you've been on hormones 2 years, or if you took puberty blockers, like it seems like you're in the range, you're good. I think that's fine. And there's other that are like, hey, it looks like your grip strength and your muscles and all this are still far above like the spectrum of like what this league is used to. It probably makes sense to find a different way to integrate you, maybe do it by weight class or whatever. I don't think this is just a non-issue that we can ignore just because there's a few people. There's more trans people every day because more people are figuring themselves out and they feel safer to come out, and more of them are feeling included. And as we include these people in society, we should also find ways to integrate them that are not going to be capitalized on by evil people who want to hate trans people, who are then going to use this in ways to get the reasonable people who say, well, they're different sports leagues, this doesn't make sense, and get those people to vote for right-wing evil people that are going to throw all these people in gulags. So that's my position.
Okay.
So you're already conceding that to the right, though. You're saying, hey, we don't want to put trans women in women's sports because
If
what
it doesn't
if
make sense.
they get taken out of women's sports because the optics are bad, you know?
Well, that's the
Why are
second
we
part of it. The
conceding
first
that
part is that,
immediately?
well, I'm not conceding it immediately. What I'm saying is there are probably ways in which trans women could be included in women's sports that maybe you would agree are not fair. So let's say the metric for
No.
no, you must no. If you don't, I think this is unreasonable. Would you think it's unfair if we just said anyone who self-identifies as a woman can play in women's sports? That's it. That's the only metric.
Yes, and I want you to think about Amani Khalif. Do you know who she is?
Yes. That's the boxer, right?
Shit, okay. Yeah, boxer. Do you remember what happened with her?
Vaguely, but let me explore my question why I think you would disagree with this, because I think this is relevant, right? Let's say this is the case. All you have to do is self-identify. There's no metric for hormones. There's no metric for like what the rules people deem as. It's just I'm a woman. And then they did this fucking stupid shit from Lady Ballers where like just 10 men were like, fuck it, we're women and we want to win, right? And they all joined the women's league. Would you be okay with that?
Sure, because it's not going to happen. I want you
Wait,
to genuinely
this has
think-
literally happened? Stupid right-wing grifters
This
have
has
done
literally
this.
happened. When has it happened?
There's the fucking stupid right-wing grifters.
The
What's
basketball team.
No, not in the
Of
movie,
women.
but like, what's his name? There's the stupid rapper guy, the grifting
And
rapper.
he did the deadlift, right?
Yeah, and he's like, look, I broke the
women.
women's
Oh, no.
world record, right? Like, this happens.
Heaven
this does
forbid,
happen.
you know?
Well, yeah, it's Steven Crowder did it too.
Hold
It's
a
like,
fucking joke. Nobody really cares, you know?
okay,
Do you think anybody
that,
knows that guy's name?
wait. First of all, clearly I don't. But like, tell me if
Do
you would have an
women
issue with this.
genuinely care about
Tell me
this?
if you would have an issue with this. If some petty, shitty right-wing Republican guy decided, I'm going to break the women's world record, Guinness World Record of this, because just by biological, realities, the men who are better at this are going to be far beyond the women that are better at this. Even like just the top 200 men are always going to be the women, and took that away from like a first person just by saying, I'm a woman now, and that's it. Would you say that is okay? I think that's not okay.
I'd say fucking congrats, because nobody cares about these grifters and these people.
Well,
if it's not an
hold
actual
on.
trans person, nobody pays attention to them.
Hold on. It's not.
It's just not true.
This isn't true.
But go
Like,
on.
you got to understand this. Like,
Okay,
the reason I have a problem with this is like, yes, the right wing people are doing this in bad faith, but also a lot of the right wing people have the same opinion as a lot of moderate people, which is like, this doesn't seem fair. And if they see a person who doesn't present or do anything and is literally what I would describe as like fake trans, like they're literally just grifting, like the fucking, what's the guy who shot up the gay nightclub in Colorado and was just like, oh, I'm non-binary, and it was like very obvious to everyone, like this person never presented this way, like it's very much a bad faith tactic. People are going to see that and be like, I'm not okay with this. I don't like what that person did. This seems unjust. And they're going to use what moderate, normal people will see as unjust to crack down on real, like, trans people who are suffering and have their rights stripped away. And I don't think that's okay.
So this brings us back to Amani Khalif.
Sure.
This is why I wanted to talk about this. Do you know what happened with her?
So my understanding is she was born with like some interesting defect, like maybe an extra like internal testy, but she has like female genitals or something. So she has like a testosterone boost or something, right?
Yes.
And so people accused her of being a man, and she won something, and then the whole right-wing machine came
She
at
won
her.
Olympic boxing. Yes.
Sure. Okay.
So we are talking here about a woman I think something that everybody can agree as a woman, she gave birth after she, I believe, just quit boxing after that whole thing because she went through a fucking lot. So this is somebody who is, in everybody's mind, a woman now at least, who we kind of witch hunted out of a sport because we believed that she might be,
Well,
trans.
Hold on. You say we. To be fair, based on what I understood about the situation, I think she should have been competing in the women's league, right? A bunch of the women who excel in Olympics in the women's league are biological women, as insofar as like, they're born a woman, they have a vagina, but a bunch of them have like abnormal Michael Phelps type testosterone, like enhanced, like, they have too much of this level, right? Like this is a thing. And
Yeah,
some of
they
them
would get kicked out if we enforce testosterone limits.
Well, I'm not saying we have to enforce testosterone limits as the metric. That's why I very frequently say, I don't know the best way to integrate this. All I know is that there are ways that they have. The NCAA, for example, is Team Fair, which is like, hey, if you've been on hormones for 2 years, this is good enough, right? If they say it's good enough, I think it is. But also, they've said no trans women now. They've completely reversed that after all the right-wing shift against this. So it's like, I don't know what the exact solution is. All I know is like, if your metric, which appears to be, hey, if anyone just says they are, this is fine. I don't think this is a tenable solution. I think letting stuff like that happen, but which, by the way, I will concede, I don't think anyone, well, maybe people have done this, but I'm pretty sure for the most part, no sports league is just like, yep, if you just say you're a woman, it's cool. But if that is what you're okay with, it's like, well, we have to do this because if we don't, then people like Amani Khalif are going to feel the downstream effects. I think that if you do this, it's going to be much worse because you get the right wing who can capitalize off of the people who see that and say that doesn't seem fair, and then get them to vote on trans issues, which is such an insignificant thing compared to what the right is advocating for.
We do got
So
we are almost 15 minutes past the deadline, right? And I do want to shill my next show here.
Trans rights
So
are
we're
human
gonna-
rights. Let them play sports. That's what I say.
Okay. See you later, buddy. Okay, so Soy Pill, thank you for being here.
Thanks,
now,
Whick, for
if you've
setting this up.
enjoyed this conversation, if you've liked what I have to say, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like this format, let me know. A lot of people have been have enjoyed the Verse the World format that I've done.
This was
and,
a blast. I love it, Whick.
I'm glad you liked it. But if you want to see real content, gang, if you want to see the best of the best, okay, tune in Friday. Friday, we're going to be talking about the Insurrection Act. We're going to have on Nicholas Decker, who wrote the Substack When Should We Kill Them? We're going to have on Destiny. We're going to have on Drew Pavlo. And we're going to have on Artemis Consort or Hunter Ash. And they're going to be discussing whether or not Trump should invoke the Insurrection Act in Minnesota to deal with all the protesters. And
Why are
Tim
you
Walz.
platforming Drew? He's such a non-serious person.
Because it'll be good content. That's why.
Gross. All right, have fun.
I like
that
Drew.
does
Hey,
sound like a fun
I
panel.
like
I'm not
Drew,
gonna lie.
Okay. And
Mhm.
honestly, there's a non-zero chance that the vice president will watch my show since Drew is on it and they follow Drew. So that's cool. Thanks for being here. What do you got coming up, Soy Pill?
I'm working on a new vid. I think I'm doing a collab tomorrow, actually, but I don't know if it's gonna be live streamed, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, look out for that new vid. Live and Learns on Monday. Nothing crazy.
Okay. Well, the last word from Okala says, "Thank you, Soy. I don't hate you, but I'm glad you came." Okay. With that,
Yeah.
I'll see
Thanks,
you guys
Whick.
later.
Thanks,
Bye,
viewers.
everyone.
Love you guys. Type 1 into the deep sleep.
Bye.
Bye.